Be cool, be kind, be classy. The cupcakes are sweet and sexy. Have fun and enjoy the journey. Or just have a good attorney. No big whoop, no biggie. She lives near New York City. And not just a YouTube show. When you know, you better grab a straw. Learn about the law. It's cool here in the shade, sipping motions of lemonade. Cool heads will prevail, kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Oh, Melanie Little is going live. Oh no, where is Melanie? Follow the island's melody. There's a concert within reach. No surprise, she's at Jones Beach. She heard some music far away. Captain Jack Stack Harbor Bay. He sings and his piano plays. Not all sounds are waterways. Speaking Yiddish and Latin, it's not just for Manhattan. It's for Goethe and Machegas. Ridiculous that insanus. Oy vey, Marcus. Proset, that's for schmucks. Be cool, be kind, be classy. My cupcakes are sweet and sassy. And not just a YouTube show. When you know. Cool heads will prevail. Kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Melanie Little is going live.
Wow, just wow. This is a completely unplanned, unscheduled live. I had been prepping a show to come and talk to you about the devastation of Pacific Palisades. Pacific Palisades is gone. It is virtually burned to the ground. There is hardly anything left. About at least 1,000 homes and probably more are gone. Many celebrities' homes are gone. I have friends and family who have evacuated. Friends who have their cars packed up and ready to go because they're in warning areas and not yet evacuation areas. Collier Landry, our good YouTube friend, also is from an area that may have already had to evacuate. I've reached out to him to make sure that he's okay. I've not heard anything back from him yet, but he has been posting some live things. So Alan Jackson is also in LA. I don't know where in LA he lives, but as I was prepping this show and getting ready to come on and talk about that, another fire has just broken out in the Hollywood Hills moments ago. The Hollywood Hills have exploded. There is a mandatory evacuation order in effect right now for the Runyon Canyon area. The fire is blowing directly towards Hollywood Boulevard, and this is shocking. I'm going to show you, and then we're going to go to the evacuation area because people who may not know, and they may just be not knowing that it's time to evacuate. The Sunset Fire, which is brand new, literally just broke out within the past half an hour. Here's at least 19 acres have already burned. That was as of 8 minutes ago. Let's take a look. Hold on. I don't even know what we should do first. Let's go to the live footage. This is NBC LA. Hopefully they won't strike me for showing this to you. And then I'm going to go over the mandatory evacuation area.
Morning.
Okay, that wasn't even me. That was totally StreamYard. StreamYard is exploding probably right now, just like the Hollywood Hills. Hang on.
Proximity to what would be that line, which is Laurel Canyon, then they issue the evacuation order for the rest of the neighborhood. So my guess is that if you've got that alert on your phone, don't take it lightly, because you'll probably be followed up by a second alert saying it's time to leave. And Laurel Canyon, keep in mind, it's part of the beauty of the canyons and the Hollywood Hills, the beautiful vistas, the windy roads, the the bucolic
This is what is
neighborhoods of the
happening right
mountains.
now in
But
the
that's a
Hollywood
real
Hills.
problem, of course, for a firefight, because these roads aren't large enough for an apparatus to make, for example, a U-turn. I don't know of how many landing zones they may have, or areas where they may be able to achieve a water supply for an aerial drop, where they need to
I'm
go
gonna
for
pause
that.
this and go to the mandatory evacuation area right now, because this is more important for people who are affected by this. This is the Sunset Fire. This is literally just hit the fire.ca.gov website. It is currently burning in the Hollywood Hills. Let me move myself out of the way here. There is a mandatory evacuation order. This is an immediate threat to life. This is a lawful order to leave now. It says the area is lawfully closed to public access. The evacuation order is in effect for Laurel Canyon Boulevard on the west, to Mulholland Drive on the north, to the 101 on the east, down to Hollywood Boulevard on the south. Right now, leave immediately. I mean, this literally just happened within the past 30 minutes. And it is so new. It started at 5:57 p.m. Pacific. So maybe within the past hour, but it spread very, very, very quickly. It's already at, I think, something like 19 acres, 20 acres now as we speak. And here's an alert from the Los Angeles Fire Department, the Sunset Evacuation Order. Hollywood Hills West, approximately 10 acres burning. Well, that was earlier. It's now at least 20, I think. It still says 10. They probably haven't had a chance to update it yet. Between Runyon Canyon and Wattles Park, a mandatory evacuation order is now in place for Laurel Canyon Boulevard on the west, to Mulholland Drive on the north, to the 101 freeway on the east, down to Hollywood Boulevard on the south. Mandatory evacuation. There are currently, I think now, 7 fires burning. When I started prepping this show, there were 5 fires burning. The Palisades fire, which started yesterday, right? Yesterday. It only started yesterday. It was at one point, I think it was burning up to 5 football fields a minute. 5 football fields per minute. And due to 100-mile-an-hour gusts, it spread very, very quickly. At least 1,000 homes are gone. It is currently burning 15,832 acres with 0% containment. This is already within one day the worst wildfire, brush fire, the worst fire in California, in Los Angeles history. High wind warnings remain in effect. Yesterday, when they went to fight this fire, some of the fire hydrants had no water. There was no water in the fire hydrants, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but this has to do with the mayor of Los Angeles cutting the LA Fire Department budget by something like almost $18 million. She wanted to cut it to something like $23 million, and so there was no water. Let's go back to the live coverage.
Is, as I said, the Runyon Canyon area, very popular hiking area. This fire broke out within the past couple of hours. Water dropping choppers out there tonight. This so far, they tell us.
They couldn't fight the Palisades fire from the air yesterday because the winds were so high. And so they could not fight the fires from the air. They have started on the Hollywood Hills fire, and they said part of it was contained, but it doesn't look like it to me.
Eye on the Palisades fire. This is the one that has now burned close to 16,000 acres there in the Pacific Palisades neighborhood, as well as nearby Santa Monica, with no containment still tonight. Evacuation orders have been extended for parts of Santa Monica, which include areas north of Montana Avenue between 11th and PCH. The evacuation order for parts of north of San Vicente are still in place. More than 15,000 people do not have gas in the Malibu area. And there's also a boil water advisory right now for the Sunset Mesa community. On the Eaton fire,
Santa Monica is now under mandatory evacuation. I've never seen fires get as far as Santa Monica either, and this is insanity right now.
people have been killed in the Eaton fire and that more than 1,000 buildings have been destroyed. Those include homes as well as businesses, and city leaders there with Altadena, Pasadena, and nearby communities
Magenta,
asking
where are
people
you?
to
I'm gonna
leave
put
the
up
fire
the,
area immediately and to stay out of that area.
Let me put up the shelter information. I'm going to let this play while I look for it. I'm going to put up the shelter information for you.
In there to work because there are still active fires burning. There are evacuation centers open right now at the Pasadena Convention Center as well as the Arcadia Community Center. And we have live TV coverage right now on all those fires. We want to start, though, with our meteorologist, Melisa McGee. Melissa.
Hi there, Jonathan and Colleen. And yeah, we're tracking the very latest with the Sunset Fire. Very interesting to look at the pictures and the images coming in from our chopper shot because as we had LAFD earlier, they were saying that they were using the aerial attack to stop the hot flanks from spreading. And then they start to stop the forward progress of this fire here. I do want to show you the latest observation data as we're looking at the Sunset Fire here. And like Conan was saying, we had him on just 5 minutes ago. He was saying that the winds are not as strong as they were last night. So I want to show you some of the observation sites. Franklin Canyon Park, we've got a gust up to just 25 miles per hour, but they're coming in out of the north in some spots. So this is a big concern. Also, as we look at the pictures and the images you can see on the other side of the screen here, this is really when we start to talk about that wildfire triangle, because we've got a few components to make this fire really grow and really blossom. First of all, it's all about the topography. We're very familiar with Runyon Canyon. There's a lot of slopes, there are a lot of hills, there are a lot of trails in that region. And then we talk about the fuel. That's the dense, dry brush in that air, the trees, the bushes, the grass, and it's very dry. Add on top of that the weather we have right now, the Santa Ana winds. And unlike last night, the winds are actually starting to weaken. So right now we've got.
So that's a good thing. The winds are starting to weaken, which means that they're going to be able to fight this from the air. Here are the shelters. Here are the list of shelters. Westwood Recreation Center at 1350 Sepulveda in Los Angeles. El Camino Real Charter High School at 5440 Valley Circle Boulevard in Woodland Hills. And Pasadena Civic Center at 300 East Green Street in Pasadena. There are also shelters open for animals. I'm going to put this up on the screen in case anybody needs them. A lot of animals are displaced right now. There are a number of shelters for small animals in Agora Hills, Baldwin Park, Gardena, Downey, Lancaster, and Palmdale. And for large animals, Pomona, City of Industry, and Lancaster. I'll leave that there for a minute in case anybody needs to screenshot it. Okay, well, there you go. Be ready. Be ready. Here's another piece of advice for anybody who is getting ready to evacuate. Take out your phone, make a video of everything in your home, all of your valuables, all of your furniture, every single thing that you have as quickly as you can. Artwork, anything that is going to be covered by insurance, you need to have a video of it. And do it as quickly as you can. Get all of your important papers together, anything that you can grab, but you can't waste time trying to get stuff out of your house. An evacuation order means immediate threat to life. This is a lawful order to leave now. Get out. Evacuation warning means potential threat to life and property. Those who require additional time to evacuate and those with pets and livestock, they say, should leave now. Shelter in place means go indoors, shut and lock doors and windows. Prepare to self-sustain until further notice and or contacted by emergency personnel for additional direction. It is devastating, absolutely devastating. Trolls are going to be quickly banned, so do not leave your pets behind. Please do not leave your pets behind. Trolls are going to be out of here faster than you know because I'm not tolerating it. Yes, please take your animals. Please take your animals. Here's the when the fire first broke out, this is what it looked like from up. Yeah, I agree. Insurance may not do much, but at least you can try and prepare yourself. Some people don't have insurance. That is right. Some people don't have insurance because of all of these fires. This is devastating. Thank you. The comments are going to be kind because otherwise people are getting banned. There are one-way passes available to Block Island. It's a lovely place off the coast of Long Island, in between Rhode Island and Long Island. We have one-way passes, and we give them out freely. So guide your actions accordingly. Thank you for reminding people. You shouldn't have to remind people that this is a serious situation. That's no joke, but it's very sad that we have to do that.
To start watering the house and everything. We got some news coming into the newsroom, so we'll loop back with you guys. Let's send it back into you in the studio.
All right, Alex, thank you. Right now, we want to go to our Julia Dang overhead. And Julia, we just saw flames coming from the backyard of that home there, from the balcony area. We see them again. Can you tell us what's going on there, if there's anyone trying to put out those flames?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, Jonathan, flames are flaring up again. Look at this. This house looks to be on the corner of North Sierra Bonita Avenue and Franklin Avenue. It looks like embers must have jumped at least 2 blocks from the southernmost flank of this fire, and it sparked up near the front porch. They got it out quickly, and then it just flared up again. I'm going to keep the camera on this as I zoom out wide and show you the progress that's being made. It is incredible the difference it makes when the fire department is able to launch their helicopters and attack these fires from above. They've been flying at least 3 city fire department helicopters, 1 from the county fire department, over this over and over again. I've lost count of how many water drops we've seen. I see a helicopter right now with the night sunlight over the south flank of this fire, probably preparing to do another water drop. Colleen noted earlier how this fire is being blown to the west. It makes sense. They've been attacking the western side of this fire, the west flank. On the east side a couple minutes ago, we showed you how it's still burning out of control, and that's where the spread appears to be right now. The south part of this fire and the east flank. This home, let me zoom back in here and take a look. It looks like they got it knocked down, but it's just terrifying. These embers can jump that far. This was 2 blocks from the heel of the fire. So you're understanding now why this evacuation zone is as broad as it is and why they're expanding it right now to the west. If you follow my camera, I'm going to pan this to the right. This is looking to the south now. Look at this traffic. Look at this. And firefighters are still trying to get in. They're fighting this from the ground as well as people are trying to get out. Incredibly, and we have seen this in every fire we've covered today, incredibly, there are people trying to go up the hill as well. I'm guessing people trying to go back home to maybe rescue pets, grab important documents, try and secure their valuables. There is no time for that. My phone keeps on going off in the helicopter. I know my colleagues in the NBC4 newsroom have mentioned as well. They're getting alerts over and over. They're coming from the city fire department. It started with an evacuation warning, and then 90% of the time you get those, it turns into an order. Sure enough, within 10 minutes, I got that alert on my phone, and then another one came by warning more people about potential evacuation orders. So even though this looks to be under control now, this looks more hopeful.
In the Palisades, people had to abandon their cars. They were actually told to abandon their cars and to run to the beach. And so when the fire trucks couldn't get through, they were bulldozing cars out of the way so that the fire trucks could get up there. And Steve Guttenberg, the actor, was caught on camera. He was interviewed by a news reporter who didn't even know who he was. And he was out there trying to move cars. And he was telling people, if you have to abandon your car, please leave the keys in your car. Please leave the keys in your car so we can move them out of the way. But this is a brand new fire in the Hollywood Hills, which is something that just happened as I was getting ready to come on and talk to you about the devastation in the Palisades.
We took our dogs. I had to leave the birds at home.
Okay, we don't need to listen to her pets. I want to take you to some things that can help you if you need help. This is the LA Fire Department Instagram. They're putting up an important notice as of 25 minutes ago. Immediate mandatory evacuation order. Laurel Canyon Boulevard to the west, South Hollywood Boulevard, east 101, and north to Mulholland Drive. And then they are notifying everyone the difference between an evacuation warning and an evacuation order. There is also a fire burning in Hearst. This is called the Hearst fire. This has a mandatory evacuation order for north of the 210 freeway from Roxford to the Interstate 514 freeway split. This is the Palisades fire. This was the update as of 3 p.m. Pacific today. Currently had burned up to 15,832 acres with 0% containment. High wind warning in effect. Well, it says until 6 p.m. tonight, which would be past. They've died down maybe a little bit, but I don't think that much. And evacuation orders remain in effect. Mulholland South to the PCH, Topanga East to North Kenter Road. The evacuation centers are here. The Westwood Rec Center and the LA Equestrian Center, which can also accommodate large animals. That's the Hearst fire. This is the Palisades fire. These are older posts. Let me see. There was something else I wanted to show you. Lists of things to do. Let's go back to the live coverage while I get that for you.
Robert said that the fire department comes up there sometimes and they go through these drills and they brief people.
Yes.
You know, I don't even know how to ask this question about the birds. You had to leave them behind?
The cages, there's one, a wrought iron cage. It's about 6.5 feet high. The other cage for the inside birds, we were able to move into a back bathroom that's all all marble.
You can see scrolling along the bottom are the addresses
anything.
of the
As I said, we had
shelters. The Sunset Fire is now up to at least 19 acres. When we started this street,
with watching for my brother who was evacuated in Mandeville, and then friends who were in Pacific Palisades, that we thought for sure the fire would be contained, that we wouldn't be touched. So I didn't have carrier cages, but we have a huge Great Pyrenees and English Golden Retriever. We took them. I took photo albums. We took documents, and only what we're wearing, a sweater and jeans and tennis shoes, and that's all.
Alan Jackson's house was 2
so
blocks
tough
from the fire.
It's so tough, Mona, in those moments to know exactly what you're going to grab.
Nick Rocco's in the chat says that Alan Jackson's house was 2 blocks from the fire about 5 hours ago. So he's not in the Hollywood Hills. He must be in Palisades. This is devastating. This is absolutely devastating. There are no words. I hope prayers up to Alan Jackson and his family. I hope that everyone's okay. And the winds are wild and the fire hydrants are empty. It's a big problem. They're under a boil water alert.
Latest one.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was growing up, there was a big fire in Coldwater Canyon, where I grew up, and we had to evacuate. I was like 8 years old, and of course it was quite fun. We went to a little restaurant and stayed until we were given the all clear. But there was never, ever a time where we were getting.
Okay, I just don't have time for cute stories right now. This is from last night. This is Jamie Lee Curtis, the actress, posted this. This is a picture of someone's house in the Palisades and their Christmas tree burning. Here's Steve Guttenberg being interviewed yesterday when they were trying to move the cars. Let me see if this will play.
Here on Palisades Drive, if anybody has a car and they leave the keys in the car. Right. So that we can move your car, so that these fire trucks can get up Palisades Drive.
Yeah.
What's happening is people take their keys with them as if they're in a parking lot. This is not a parking lot. Yeah. We really need people to move their cars. So if you leave your car in Palisades Drive, leave the key in there so a guy like me can move your cars and get them up there so that these fire trucks can get up there. It's really, really important.
Thank you for talking to us live, sir. What's your name?
My name is Steve Guttenberg.
Steve, do you live in this area?
I live in the area. Yeah, I live right up the hill, and thank goodness everybody back. But I have friends up there right now, and they can't evacuate because it's stuck on Palisades Drive.
Yeah, and you're an actor.
Yeah, I'm an actor.
Okay, now you look familiar. You look familiar to me now.
Yeah.
So, sir, do you have family up there? I was just talking to that gentleman.
He didn't know who he was. Some of you younger folks might not remember him from such movies as Police Academy, all those Police Academy movies. What else was he in? I don't remember.
He has a mom who's stuck up in the hills.
Yeah, there are people stuck up there. So we're trying to clear Palisade Drive, and I'm walking up there as far as I can, moving cars. But people leave they don't take their keys with them as if it's a parking lot. There are families up there. There are pets up there. There are people who really need help.
And you
Three
told
men and a baby. Yeah.
But I wonder if I could just make
Yeah.
here on Palisades Drive, if anybody has a car and they leave their car, leave the keys in the car so that we can move your car. So
That's on a loop. It's now the news is breaking that people were told to leave and run down to the beach and leave their cars there. Here's two men and their dogs. Their homes are burning around.
Hi. Just be okay. You're gonna be okay. Hi. You're gonna be okay. Oh shit.
Devastating.
Yeah, don't worry about that, dude. Look at that. Oh shit.
Devastating, but some people that were able to stay by their houses with hoses were able to save their houses. So it's some people just won't leave. Some people don't want to leave. This is the devastation from earlier today. This is also posted by Jamie Lee Curtis 7 hours ago. This is Pacific Palisades, the aftermath. Devastating. Pacific Palisades, a lot of celebrities live there. And this can happen anywhere. Apparently, it never happened in Santa Monica before, but it is now. Kate Beckinsale has been posting quite a bit. This is from yesterday, Pacific Palisades.
Okay, I guess let's park along this street.
Today.
Yeah, and then Dave, if you can, just go ahead of us and try to set up a signal.
Right here. This is where it's got to be. This is, oh my God. What? I've never, look at this. Beyond comprehension. Oh.
This is what has burned down. Palisades Park and the library, every house from Chautauqua on Sunset to Village was burned down. And this was as of 9 hours ago. So this may not even be totally current. Ralph's and Gelson's both gone. Whole street of Elise Walker gone, except for randomly a facade of a Starbucks building. That's a big shopping center there. Palisades Village is all there and stayed intact. The car wash is gone. Palisades Elementary and Village School are gone. The gas stations are gone, and all of Alphabet Street are gone. Here's another list of a lot of things that I just mentioned. It's now up to something like 100,000 under evacuation orders. No, Emily Baker doesn't live there now. She used to live there years ago, but she lives, I think, in Nashville now. Here I'm putting up the shelters again for the Palisades fire and the Eaton fire. Westwood Recreation Center in LA, El Camino Real, Charter High School, Pasadena Civic Center. Also Airbnb is providing free and discounted housing for anyone who is displaced. You can call 211 and you need to be in LA County to make the call. It'll ping. It says it pings the nearest cell and routes you to the call center. But I also have an article on that about Airbnb. So let me pull that up real quick for anybody who needs housing. If I can find out where I put it. I'm getting a little spinny thing. You go to airbnb.org. The home of Leighton Meester and Adam Brody has burned down. This is, well, according to Dumois, Miles Teller's house has burned down. Eugene Levy's house has burned down. Anthony Hopkins, Billy Crystal, Spencer Pratt, and John Goodman's homes have all been destroyed in the fire. This is some Pacific Palisades. Again, here are the emergency shelters for the Palisades fire. Here's what to bring with you to an evacuation center: prescription medicines, extra clothing, pillows and blankets, hygiene supplies, important documents, diapers, formula, and toys for children. That's what the American Red Cross suggests. If you have time to prepare, here are some more instructions from the American Red Cross. Move combustible furniture to the center of your home. Place valuables that won't be damaged by water in a pool. Remove combustible items from around your home's yard. Shut off the gas meter only if advised to do so. I've just learned that I think most of Palisades have been told to shut off their gas meters. Open fireplace dampers and close your fireplace screens and wet down your roof. That is what they are advising people to do. Here again are the Hollywood Hills.
This really is like day and night. I mean, we have aerial firefighting resources now. The winds are nowhere near as bad, and we can feel the difference. I've been News Chopper 4 between wind conditions just a couple hours ago over the Palisades fire and tonight over Hollywood. You can probably tell from our picture, too, as I zoom in on some of these trees, this dry brush that's burning. Look at these palm trees I'm going to zoom in on. They're not flapping in the wind quite the same way as what we saw over in Altadena and over in the Palisades earlier, but these embers are still flying. All it takes is one, and these embers can fly miles through the air. So it's not unheard of for this to jump 2 or 3 blocks down to that home on Sierra Bonita that was at the center of a frantic firefight. Thank goodness there were already fire resources on scene, on the ground and in the air. LAFD calling their helicopters, their workhorses. Thank goodness they can launch tonight. And we are watching this from upstairs, just west of this fire, because fortunately we can now fly. We are no longer grounded by the extreme historic winds that spread the other fires we've been covering. So it looks to me like this is under control for now, but we're still waiting for an update on acreage and containment.
And we're not out of the woods yet, Julia, as we stay with your shot here. We know that you guys have to go refuel in just a moment. But Julia, quickly, you mentioned earlier when I was talking to you that you could barely hold your joystick to man the camera because it was just that windy when you were over the, I don't know if you remember, it was Palisades, I believe it was, or Eaton fire. Regardless, the conditions sound like they've gotten better. Are you continuing to see the aerial attack on this particular fire now, the Sunset Fire?
We're still seeing the aerial attack here. The frequency of the water drops from the firefighting helicopters, it seems to have lessened just a bit. But as I zoom out, you can see some of those spotlights. Those are the night sunlights from these LAFD and LA County firefighter helicopters. So we're not seeing anything right now, but I bet you if we could stay on station for a little bit longer and hold this shot, we would see additional water drops. One thing I do want to note, we don't know anything about the cause of this fire just yet, but we did see what looked like a drone flying very close to the fire. It was on the western flank over here about 10 minutes ago. So I don't know if that's an LAFD drone. I don't know if that's part of their firefighting strategy or perhaps part of their investigation into what sparked this. But we're going to try and track down that footage.
Well, don't start
and
any
of course
conspiracy theories about
what
drones,
started
Nobody
this
needs that right
10-acre
now.
Sunset Fire.
All right, Julia Ding in News Chopper 4. I know you're taking off to get fuel, and we'll see you back here once you fuel up. But in the meantime, we're going to go back to Conan Nolan. Conan, this is exactly what you were talking about, the winds pushing these flames down into the flats, into some of these homes.
Yes, pray that the winds die
Runyon
down.
Canyon, as we see another, this is in North Hollywood, LA's fire truck, again, part of the strike team that we saw come up.
Pepperdine should be okay because all of their buildings are fireproof. In fact, during the last Malibu fires, the Pepperdine students were told to stay in their dorms. I know it sounds crazy, but they built that college specifically to be fireproof.
Of course, it preheats the brush ahead of it. And the point is that the fuel is already dry enough. It doesn't take much for it to become combustible. Based on what we've seen, along with what you've just heard, it appears they've done a pretty good job with the water applications by air that they've been able to put on this branch of the fire. We've seen it gets into some of the manzanita, some of the brush, and you can see a rise in the flame. You know what, 6 inches of brush can give you 5 feet of flame. I believe it's something to that effect. But they've been able to
sorry,
advance.
Jazzy. In this
I
fire,
think quite.
I'm so sorry.
Quite
How can we help?
effectively on that flank of the fire as it continues to make its way slowly downhill towards homes. The homes up here seem to be in better shape, in part because we are still a canyon. Runyon's on the other side. We are still a canyon away, so they have time on their side. They also, I should point out, I don't know if you can see it, but I might have you go down here. They have a protected space here. That is, this is dirt. I don't know if this is by design. Hopefully it was, but they have ripped out the vegetation that does not give the flame purchase as it makes its way up the hill. So there's really nothing for it to preheat. I wouldn't be surprised if that was done on purpose by some of the homeowners here or by the city. In any case, that will help not to have too much brush down here if indeed those flames do make their way down the canyon wall and they start to make their way up this way. The good news is, you know, timing is everything in life, Colleen. You both know it. The timing here benefits the Hollywood Hills in that this is happening now and didn't happen yesterday. Because the wind gusts, there are gusts, we do feel them, but it's nothing like what we saw, and it's still allows the LAFD to get in the air to fight this, what they're doing to some significant effect, I must say, based on the aerial drops that we've seen. They're going to be at this, though, for quite some time. It won't take much, even if they get a good amount of this fire down, it won't take much for the embers to reignite if indeed it gets a lot of oxygen through a lot of wind gusts, which we saw earlier. And so this is going to be a long firefight for them, but I think there's some sense of optimism that they're making some headway on this flank of the fire in Runyon Canyon.
Without question, Conan. Jonathan and Kathy now with you here as we continue with your shot. We've seen, even just from your shot alone, Conan, plenty of progress as we saw that water drop just about a minute ago. And this is the tool that firefighters just didn't have last night, Conan. And talk to us about exactly where you are. Are you anywhere near homes? You mentioned you went up with the strike teams as we see yet another water drop. They've been really successful at these so far here in the Sunset Fire, Conan. And have you had the chance to speak to any homeowners or anybody who's been trying to evacuate?
You know, I haven't. We are on Solar's Drive, which is above Runyon Canyon. It is to the south of Mulholland and east of Laurel Canyon. This neighborhood has been told to leave. Several of the neighborhoods here. We haven't seen a lot of activity here. I haven't seen. We came from, of course, Altadena, where everybody was either evacuated or they stayed and were using as much water as they could find and pressure to put water in their homes to save their homes. You don't see any of that here. I don't think anybody is risking it because there's very little room for there's very little measure of success here.
I don't know. They're saying that it's maybe contained a little bit, but I mean, it just exploded out of nowhere. I mean, it just literally exploded out of nowhere. P. Ferrari says, Nicaragua. Nick, if you're still in the chat, do we know if Dr. Russell is safe or in the path? Thank you for your super chat. Thanks, Patty, also for your super chat. Mrs. Goodman says that Mr. Goodman was a firefighter for 30 years. I've been listening to the scanner all night. Thank you for covering this. Thanks. I don't know where you guys live. Are you in California? He also worked for the water department for 40 years. And if there's no water, hydrants are empty. So no water. Thanks, Newsom, for ruining 4 dams. Should be water in the mains. Prayers for California. Thank you, Goodmans. You guys are always here.
All bets are off when you have the kind of
Doesn't look contained to me,
velocity
but what
that
do
we
I know?
saw last night and this morning, with the wind gusts propelling the embers, advancing the flames in Eaton Canyon and the Palisades upwards to a mile downrange. So we haven't talked to anybody. I haven't seen anybody. Most have evacuated, I would think, and those who
Really?
aren't
Did they get
evacuated
out
are
that
watching
quickly?
us and praying and hoping for the best.
All right, Conan, we have some important information we need to pass along to our viewers as we hold your shot here. We want to clarify that the boil water advisory we talked about earlier, that advisory is actually for anyone who lives in the Pacific Palisades area. If your zip code is 90272, again, that zip code 90272, the LEDWP is urging you either use bottled water or you boil your water until further notice. That is because the water pressure there continues to be so low due to the high water usage that has been being used to try to put out the Palisades fire.
Meanwhile, we continue to watch this sunset fire that broke out just before 6 o'clock tonight in the Hollywood Hills. And Jonathan, one of the things about the Hollywood Hills, Conan was mentioning the spaghetti streets, and they're so narrow. If you've driven up there,
The bird
if you park your
streets,
car on the side, it's really
forget
hard to
about
get
it.
around. So
Barely
this
one
kind of
car can
area
fit
can be really
down the
tough
bird
for
street.
firefighters. But what I found fascinating is that the people who live there apparently train with the fire department, and they have a plan in place so that you know what to do. So you know to talk to neighbors, and it's really good because before a fire
did they say the
hits
Hollywood
and
sign is gone,
strikes
Jeff?
is when you
Did I
really
miss
want to
that?
be prepared.
I don't
Once
know
it
about that.
happens, it's almost too late. I mean, you need to have your stuff ready. And if you're leaving beyond evacuation orders, if they tell you to get out and you don't go, then you're just causing a problem for firefighters at that point. So they really want you to adhere to those precautions. I love that they train with the residents there.
And one big concern among residents, I know in the Runyon Canyon area, Kathy, is that they all always have concerns with how many visitors visit these parks that are in the canyon, especially Runyon Canyon Park. A lot of people park their cars, and they're concerned for this reason, because if there is a fire that breaks out, do the firefighters have enough space to drive their giant apparatus, those fire trucks, the fire engines, up into the canyon successfully to get to where these fires are going? They have red flag days on days like yesterday, days like today, where they don't allow parking for this very reason, so that people can get, the firefighters can get up into the canyon areas, these narrow streets, many of them one way in, one way out. And so, thankfully, if people are, heeding the warnings and they're heeding those red flag violations, they're not, parking their cars in certain places. We saw a lot of people trying to get out. That is why we see a lot of traffic along Franklin and Hollywood Boulevard, 2 major thoroughfares in that area that are impacted by all those people trying to get out as soon as possible. Right now, we want to get over to meteorologist David Bigger. Our Robert Kovacic, live in Hollywood Hills now. He's just arrived with the latest on the Sunset Fire. And Robert, we also understand, this is the area that you call home.
Right now is that we are at the entrance to Runyon Canyon. If you live in this neighborhood, and if you know this neighborhood, if you've used Runyon Canyon, this is Runyon and Mulholland. This is Debbie. Debbie, it's good to see you.
You too.
Tell me from your perspective, when you first got aware of this fire, was it an emergency alert? Did you smell the smoke? Did you see the flames?
We got like so many emergency alerts, which has kind of made us really paranoid because we're like right at Mulholland, like near Laurel, and it's like, you got to evacuate. And we're like, I don't know. So that's why I came up here to see, because we got scared. We didn't know. We didn't smell anything.
Right.
But everyone kept saying, evacuate, evacuate, so.
But you're here.
I'm here, yeah, because I cover stuff on my page.
So you're looking here, but
So I'm live on my, yeah.
Are you ready to go if need be, Debbie?
Oh, yeah. I've already packed a bag, and I have my cat and my son. We've already packed. So I said, I'm just going to see if I can see the fire, because if it's close enough, then we probably should get out of it. We should evacuate.
Are you like me thinking that, it hit another neighborhood? Ours is probably going to get spared with this round of winds, or were you ready and on standby to go at any time?
No, I wasn't ready on standby.
Yeah.
And I kind of said to my son, I'm like, maybe you should just pack a bag just in case. And then all of a sudden he's like, Mom, I think we should like pack a bag now. And I was like, oh my.
All right, let's go over what you should pack in your bag according to the Red Cross. What do you need in a survival kit? You can always refer back to this stream later. God hopes you never need it, but it's good to know. Here's what the Red Cross says that you should do. What do you need in a survival kit? At a minimum, you should have the basic, I don't know. StreamYard is giving me trouble, so if I disappear, just hang on for a minute. I think you can still see me screen sharing, right? At a minimum, you should have the basic supplies listed below. Water, 1 gallon per person per day, a 3-day supply for evacuation, or a 2-week supply for home. Food, non-perishable, easy to prepare items, 3-day supply for evacuation, 2-week supply for home. Flashlight, battery powered or hand crank radio, extra batteries, first aid kit, 7-day supply of medication and medical items, a multi-purpose tool, like I guess like a Swiss Army knife or something such as like that, sanitation and personal hygiene items, copies of personal documents, medication list and pertinent medical information, proof of address, deed/lease to your home, passports, birth certificates, insurance policies. I would say that if you're in a fire zone or really anywhere, it should be a fireproof box that you can grab and take with you, because any safe that is bolted to the floor is not really going to help you in this type of situation. You can't grab and go. Cell phone with chargers, family and emergency contact information, extra cash, an emergency blanket, and a map of the area, plus any other unique things that each member of your family may need, such as medical supplies, hearing aids with extra batteries, glasses, contact lenses, syringes, etc., baby supplies, games and activities for children, pet supplies, 2-way radios, extra set of car keys and house keys, and a manual can opener. Depending on the types of disasters that are common where you live, also consider adding these things: a whistle, N95 or surgical masks, matches, rain gear, towels, work gloves, tools and supplies for securing your home, extra clothing, hat and sturdy shoes, plastic sheeting, duct tape, scissors, household liquid bleach, entertainment items, and blankets or sleeping bags. That is what the Red Cross recommends. Here's the video I was going to show you from before of the bulldozer moving cars out of the way in Palisades. Still, let me play it. Is that it? That's not even it. As they keep updating, they keep moving things. This is from earlier. Smart, Stephanie. Oh, can you not hear the audio, or can you not hear me? StreamYard just said that they were having a problem with the screen sharing. So hang on a second. I mean, I'm going to refresh my browser. Hang on. Yeah, it's a StreamYard issue. Hang on a second. All right, we'll try it again. I don't know. It's a StreamYard thing. It said it lost connection with the browser. So hang on a second. Talk amongst yourselves for a second. All right, let's try this. Tell me if you can hear it now. Oh, we don't need.
What if all I do for my type 2 diabetes isn't enough?
Yeah, I want to take you here live right now. So this is Pacific Palisades. All of these cars were ditched. So all of the drivers panicked. They took their keys. This is Palisades Drive as well as Sunset Boulevard. This dozer is just moving these vehicles out of the way. So if this is your car, unfortunately, it's an emergency situation, and this is what they have to do.
Hear it now?
They are moving the cars as we speak. Unfortunately, there are dozens of cars. This looks like a movie set. Unfortunately, this is real. LA County Fire, they have to do what they have to do. They need to clear a path. So literally, they're moving the cars, the SUVs. We're seeing Mercedes, very nice vehicles, Teslas up here, but that's because the car owners, they took their keys and they just.
I think this was yesterday, right, guys? Because they could not get the fire trucks could not get up into the Palisades.
Started running. They left the cars here as the firefighters were trying to clear the pathway, clear the roadway. This is an emergency situation where, they need to get up to the homes. They want to make sure people are not trapped up there. But this line of cars probably goes about 300 feet deep, at least as long as I can see from this bird's eye view.
But it has since come out today that I think that they were told to leave their cars there, like from the air or something, and run to the beach. Yeah, they were told. They were told to get out and leave their cars there. So there's conflicting reports, and you can't trust a lot of what mainstream media is saying. So we don't want to spread any misinformation, but that's what's coming out today.
So we're kind of staying back. They're in a situation here where they are literally moving these vehicles out of the way. Yes, it is causing damage, as you can hear from the screeching noises, but that is what they have to do.
I mean, this is so frightening. So frightening that this got so incredibly spread so quickly and has devastated so many homes. Look at this. This is from the Santa Monica Pier. My friend posted this 5 hours ago. I mean, no words. Here are some helpful apps and resources for the Palisades fire. The KTLA app. Watch Duty is an app that I've heard a lot of people talking about. It's got real-time evacuation orders, shelter information, updates on containment, acres burned, and general fire details. So Watch Duty, I've heard, is a good app. LAIT 911 Citizen app. Notify LA. You can sign up for emergency text alerts and also Alert LA County. You can sign up for emergency text alerts from them as well. And here is what has been destroyed in Pacific Palisades. Just devastating. Valerie Bertinelli posted this picture. She's also saying she finds the Watch Duty app helpful.
Smoke.
This is Lorraine Newman. Remember Lorraine Newman from the old SNL back in the day, one of the originals, posted this.
And then, oddly enough, over here, clear. Oh. Smoke.
It's from Rolling Stone magazine. It's just heartbreaking. Santa Monica Pier again. Also, you may want to screenshot this. This is another good idea for what to put in a go bag. I'll leave this up for a minute or two. It's got a much more exhaustive list.
Tony, now that we're getting some daylight.
This was posted by Paris Hilton 3 hours ago. And it says, heartbroken beyond words, sitting with my family, watching the news and seeing our home in Malibu burn to the ground on live TV.
What are you seeing in that area?
Programming. We hear you, but not programming.
And obviously tough connections right now. Tony, can you hear us?
Yeah.
That's her baby crying in the background.
Okay. I hear the producer. I do not. Okay, there we go.
Tony, now that we're getting some.
I mean, that is devastating. She posted, sitting with my family, watching the news and seeing our home in Malibu burned to the ground on live TV is something no one should ever have to experience. This home was where we built so many precious memories. It's where Phoenix took his first steps and where we dreamed of building a lifetime of memories with London. While the loss is overwhelming, I'm holding on to gratitude that my family and pets are safe. My heart and prayers are going out to every family affected by these fires, to all the people who have lost their homes, their memories, and their beloved pets. My heart aches for those in harm's way or mourning greater losses. The devastation is unimaginable. To know so many are waking up today without the place they called home is truly heartbreaking. And then she goes on and on to the brave firefighters and first responders risking their lives to protect us. You are the true heroes. I'm so grateful for your courage, dedication, and the incredible sacrifices that you've made. I imagine that's what that says. Kate Beckinsale has been posting a lot.
My name is Steve Gutenberg.
That's the Gutenberg thing. And then there was something else that had a list of, where's the page 6 one? These are all of the Hollywood stars who are forced to evacuate their mansions. And you can see, they've already told us Eugene Levy's house burned down, Heidi and Spencer Pratt. Jamie Lee Curtis was posting, we looked at that earlier. And here are some who lost their homes. Heidi Montag and Spencer Pratt. Are they from like the OC or something? I'm not sure. Leighton Meester and Adam Brody, who were this was from the Golden Globes just on Sunday night. Anna Faris's house, gone. Eugene Levy's house, gone. James Woods' house, gone. And more, including Miles Teller and some others that were Anthony Hopkins that we talked about earlier. Let's go to the chat. If anybody knows a better live station that is reporting better than whatever we're watching here, I think this is KTLA. What is this? Channel 4. Too many non-essential interviews. They were on the Hill, so okay. Laguna Beach, I don't know. One of those, the OC, one of those shows that I didn't watch. So I don't know. Somebody who does do a lot. Let me pull up a video that I watched earlier. For disaster relief in general is Bethany Frankel. I know a lot of people don't like her. I happen to like her. Shoot me. But she has a charity that does exactly this. It's called bstrong, and 100% of the proceeds that she raises go to the people affected. So it's not one of those, charities where they take huge salaries and stuff. So I'm just going to play a little short from her that I saw on YouTube earlier.
Let me give you a Be Strong California Fires update. So the fire started in the Palisades, which is a wealthy community, and many of you will say that, but we have to also think about the staff of all of these homes who will effectively be homeless. And not everyone is a billionaire who lives there. Separately, it's spread, so there'll be way more areas. This is bigger than the Paradise fires, and this seems like bigger than Lahaina, if that's how you pronounce it, Lahaina.
Lahaina.
We have a warehouse in Chico, California, which is Northern California. It's about a third the size of what you've seen my warehouse in Miami. So it is filled with aid already. And we were the first responders on the Paradise, California fires, and we were still there 2 years later. So Be Strong stays long after the headlines fade. And our MO is right now is emergency. It's crisis. The crisis and the disaster is still happening. So once that settles and people are scurrying and don't have anything to their name and don't have homes, we will come into that community with cash cards and aid and probably set up shop at a church or school for people to come and get aid. And we will start distributing money into the community, possibly helping with the rebuild like we've done in other communities. So Be Strong, 100% of what you donate goes to the effort. The aid and the warehouse has all been donated. So we are teed up and prepared because we did this in Australia for the fires. We've done this in California. We have a lot of experience in dealing with this sort of disaster. So donate at bethenny.com/bestrong. My partners at Global Empowerment Mission are already mobilizing, and we are just waiting until the first second we can get in there. Let me give you a Be Strong California fires update.
All right, so that was, she had
this,
another one. I hate how these things loop like this, but just hang on one second. Where's her page? I think that was it. Maybe the other one that I saw was on TikTok or somewhere else, but I can give you, if you're interested in donating to her charity, since 100% of it goes to the affected. Let's check it out. Be Strong, their mission is to providing emergency assistance to people in crisis. And here is the link if you want. I'll put the link in the chat if you are interested in donating. I know so many people want to do something and they just don't know what to do. So I'm going to put that in the chat. I think I posted. I don't know. I think YouTube is broken right now. I'm feeling. Let's go back and see if we can find a better live station to watch. Well, this one's giving me commercials. They're all giving me commercials. All right, hang on. I wanted to show you something else from the wrap. This was earlier today. I'm afraid it's going to kick me off again. I got that little rotating circle with like it's like a rainbow. Probably because I have too many tabs open. All right, let's close some of these tabs. Talk amongst yourselves for a second. Where are the pictures that she posted from yesterday? The mayor of LA is taking a lot of heat right now. I'm just getting that stupid spinny thing. It's like buffering, buffering, buffering. Why? Why is that happening to me? I'm on the Ethernet. Oh, it's horrifying. Horrifying, Ron.
place.
This
And
is
along
live.
with many people, we'll be keeping an eye on this one here from Hollywood. Jonathan and Kathy, we'll send it back to you.
Well, Alex, we see the fire on the right, the evacuations
you,
on the
MD.
left. Has it been mostly orderly? Are things going well there? People patient, getting through slowly, but
All right. Planet Fitness is offering free access to their showers, Wi-Fi, and charging stations. That's amazing. Thank you, Cheryl. Everyone, just a reminder to hit the like button. It helps the algorithm or something like that. Not that that's important today, but. Let's see if there's any update on the CAL FIRE website.
It's firefight.
I'm very upset by it, but I'm just glad that I was able to get an alert on IP2 because, I wouldn't have known otherwise.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. Yeah, so we are going to keep an eye on this. Kathy and Jonathan, we'll send it back into you.
All right, Alex Rozier there covering now his third fire in a matter of 2 days for us there at the base of the hills where this sunset fire now continues to burn. We have that shot from our Conan Nolan up above on the right side of your screen. We have seen continuous water drops. That is the tool that we did not get to see last night, Kathy. It's such a relief to be able to see that tonight, to see fire crews use this, really the best resource they have to attack fires like these.
yeah, big difference that water dropping has made. And we just brought up, talking with David Bigger a minute ago, if this had been yesterday when we had the winds, it would be a different story. But no, at least tonight, a calmer situation, but still people heeding the evacuation warnings, packing up, getting out, which is really the right thing to do, because we've seen so many of these fires, people literally running out the door, things left behind. It was just really tragic to watch last night.
And so many people talking about tonight, what they don't know what to grab. They just grab whatever they can and they get out. And you see that line of cars there. As all of our reporters have mentioned, on a good night, this is extraordinarily busy throughout the night. Franklin Avenue, Hollywood Avenue, you're looking at, I believe, La Brea, leading up to the hillside there at the base of Runyon Canyon, where just up above that is where the Sunset Fire is currently burning. You see those cars slowly moving out of the area. That is a great sight tonight to see. And we want people to know you have to heed those evacuation orders to make room for firefighters, especially in those narrow streets.
Well, the time right now, we're glad you're with us. It's 8 o'clock. We have been on the air now for 33 hours nonstop, bringing you the very latest on several fires that are burning across Southern California.
I'm going to flip over.
The red flag warning, even though the winds are beginning to diminish, the red flag warnings will continue in play until at least Friday, 6 p.m., perhaps maybe even as late as 10 p.m. The reason being is because the vegetation and the relative humidity values are still very dry. I'll send it back to you guys for now.
All right, Vera, thank you. You are watching breaking news coverage here on KTLA of the fire emergency across Southern California. It is 8 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Micah Ullman.
And I'm Cher Calvin. Now at 8, we continue our live coverage of the wildfires raging across Southern California.
We begin with a quick update on all of the devastating fires as they stand tonight. The newest fire, the Sunset Fire, raging through the Hollywood Hills. The flames broke out just within the last couple of hours. Mandatory evacuations are underway.
The Eaton Fire in the San Gabriel Valley exploding in size overnight, burning more than 10,500 acres. And at least 5 people have been killed in the blaze, and at least 100 structures have been destroyed.
And in the Pacific
it's nice
Palisades,
that other people are on other channels right now, but it's not nice to redirect my audience to other channels right now. So if you want to go watch something else, go watch it. But it's not really nice to redirect my audience elsewhere. Thank you, though.
Palisades fire has burned over 15,800 acres. Over 1,000 structures have been destroyed. The Sunset, Eaton, and Palisades fires have zero containment.
Meanwhile, the Hearst Fire has burned more than 850 acres north of the Newhall Pass in Sylmar, and the Lydia Fire in Acton has now grown to 348 acres. It is 40% contained.
Live to Sky 5 and Gil Levis. He is over the Sunset Fire with a look at the flames as they're moving toward homes tonight. Gil?
Mike and Sherry, looking at one of the hot spots here. This is just above Vista Street
As I come out wider, you can see the extent of the fire right now. It is looking a whole lot better than it did even just a half an hour ago. That's the extent of the burn scar and the fire itself. Multiple helicopters dropping water on the flanks of the fire. In fact, the eastern flank over here off of Kherson is a concern for firefighters right now. And they're really hitting that hard with those heli tankers that are dropping. In fact, that's one of the helicopters there. They do have the Chinook helicopter here that drops 3,000 gallons at a time. They're able to get their water out of the Hollywood Reservoir. It's a quick 2 or 3 minute flight. Once they get their water, they're back on scene, and it's making a big difference for the firefighters on the ground out here now. We're hearing that additional strike teams from LA County Fire have been set in to help the LA City firefighters on the ground here, as well as strike teams that are in place right now trying to get the fire knocked down by hand. As I come in here tight again, you can see the fire crews on that's Runyon Canyon Road there off to the side of the street. And as I come out wider, you can see the traffic has gotten a whole lot better south of the fire on Hollywood Boulevard on Franklin, and streets that are going south away from the fire right now. And one last thing I want to do is I want to come out to a wider shot here to show you the area here. I'm going to bring in our map system real quick and show you an aerial satellite view of what is burning at the current time right now. That's going to be Kherson on the right-hand side of your screen. It's all that area there of hillside, and back to a live shot. You can see the fire there has engulfed all that area and has burned all the way down to the homes there at the bottom of the canyon, as firefighters do what they can to prevent any structures from burning. The good news, we did look at that one structure right here in the center of your screen. The balcony was on fire, and quickly a firefighter made his way over there and knocked down that fire off of that building to save that building. That was a great work by that firefighter to knock down that fire. So that's the latest overhead up in Sky 5. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, Gil Avis, thank you for giving us the bird's eye view of what's happening there. And if you were wondering, that was coming from the north, looking down south from the canyon into the city there. And really, you know, just you could see how many buildings are in that way, and residents, and why there really truly was such a big traffic jam, Micah, leaving that area because of the mandatory evacuation.
Yeah, so many people heeding the warnings, LAFT getting out quickly with those warnings. One of the people affected is someone we are close with who works here at KTLA, executive producer Jake Birch. Jake, we understand you're on the phone. Do you have us?
Well, someone that we are close with, Attorney Alan Jackson. Nick Rocco has an update, and he says that Alan Jackson says his house is not safe yet, in the path of a 10,000 acre fire, but I'm hoping the winds change and it is spared. If I know Alan, he will stand outside with a hose and keep that fire away from his house, because he ain't got no quit. He ain't got no quit. So prayers up for Alan Jackson and everyone else that we know, friends and family of all of us who are affected by this new Hollywood Hills fire, and also the Palisades fire, which is still not done yet. Let's take a look at the immediate new evacuation orders with regard to the Sunset fire, which is currently, let me refresh this, 20 acres. Literally started within the last hour and a half, I want to say. I don't know. That's here in the middle of your screen. This to the left of your screen, that's the Palisades fire. So now you can see Topanga is now part of that. Here's Topanga State Park. Can really make this much larger here. And this is what we're looking at right now, this new fire, which is the Sunset fire. The mandatory evacuation is from Laurel Canyon Boulevard on the west to Mulholland on the north, to the 101 on the east, down to Hollywood Boulevard on the south. Those are evacuation orders. That means leave now. Do not stop. Do not pass go. Do not just leave. And evacuation warnings, they have some other, they're not really giving me landmarks, but they're giving me codes, I guess, for the neighborhoods where there are potential threat to life and property. And the evacuation shelter for the Sunset fire is the Pan Pacific Rec Center at 7600 Beverly Boulevard in Los Angeles. Back to KTLA.
Yes. Hi, guys.
Hi. Hope, first of all, that you're well, that everything's okay. What's your story? What happened?
Well, I was in the newsroom watching the fire coverage all day,
Pray
like
for
we all
rain,
do,
everyone.
and I saw that it was Runyon that had sparked, and I live right at the base there on Vista. So I got out, went home as quick as I could, grabbed my dog, and wrestled my cat into a bag and took off.
And where are you now? Are you able to get back home? Are they letting you in?
I came over the hill to the valley just for now to be safe, because, you know, with the wind, you never know.
Yeah, our images have shown just absolute gridlock of people trying to get out of the area. What was your experience like as you evacuated?
Yeah, it was crazy. Everybody was orderly and respecting each other, but it took about 45 minutes to get out of the area.
And I'm sure, of course, that you have a lot of friends, neighbors. Where did they go? Were they able to get out safely and also make it to maybe perhaps evacuation centers? And what was that like?
You know, I'm not sure. You never think this can happen to you, especially living in such an urban area. So as soon as I got home, everybody in the building was scrambling and filling their cars. And it really gives you that feeling of, you know, intensity and scared.
No, go ahead. Sorry, Jake.
I was just saying everybody was getting out as fast as they could. I'm not sure where everybody went, but.
Yeah. You know, in the face of all we have seen over the last day and a half here, how much did that play in the back of your mind as you move toward home and ultimately away from home?
Well, that's all I could think about, you know, especially with the wind carrying the embers, you know, 100 feet and starting a whole new fire. The residence is burning. It's unbelievable.
It's, you know, we've all been here, you know, for a long time and have covered many fires. But for some reason, this one
now there's like 7
is
burning at the
just
same time.
a different animal. It is so close to the densely populated areas, and so many thousands of people are affected by this. And, you know, like you said, Jake, it's not like something that you think will happen to you. And then all of a sudden, here comes today. And there you are at the foot of this fire. Trying to escape.
Again, willing to grow as a retired 911 operator, and says you couldn't pay me enough to work today. Mama She, you said you sent me an email. Did you want me to show the picture? She sent a picture of, it says my daughter's, what did you say? My daughter's music manager's apartment in LA. It's crazy. Thanks, Mama She, for your super chat and for the picture. It's wild. I just found this. Do you guys remember Emily Proctor from CSI Miami? This is a video. She was being interviewed. And they posted this on Twitter.
What you realize is that, all of those houses are not structures. They're actually microcosms of people's lives, and we all interact. You know, I have an across the street neighbor who's pregnant and one whose son is applying for college. And we have a new neighbor moving in, and we were making plans to drop things off. And I bicker back and forth with my postman about football teams. And it has been my life. Yeah. And so I'm so grateful to have survived. It is my home. It is my neighborhood. It's my community. And so when you see it burn, it's not the things, and you almost don't even think about the safety, although I am so deeply grateful that there have been no fatalities, and there seems to be a firefighter injured, but manageably injured.
This may have been from yesterday, because I think there's
the
5
things on those
confirmed
level
fatalities
have been
as of now.
survivable. But what we mourn is our lives.
Devastating. All those poor guys out there with a mask on. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Everyone's wearing masks now, because even as far away as the South Bay, you can smell it.
Police came in and said it is time to go. We know that 23 fire companies are here trying to get water on top of this fire. We've also seen hand crews from LA County that have been going up these winding roads in the steep terrain between Runyon Canyon and Nichols Canyon. We also know that, of course, from Sky 5, we've been seeing the water drops from helicopters. Just gridlock, though, in Hollywood as people were told to evacuate. Authorities came in and said, if you are in this area, it is time to get out and head south. Now, we don't have any reports right now of injuries, no reports of any buildings, all these apartment buildings down here or homes at the base of the canyon suffering any damage or any ember cast, anything like that. But I can tell you it's just been a chaotic scene, especially with everything going on. And that it appears the fire department is making progress on this blaze. It's not only good news, but it's remarkable given how stretched thin firefighters are all throughout LA County, given all the wildfires that are currently chewing through so much terrain in our viewing area right now. So we are going to reposition. We're trying to talk to some folks. We're going to reposition.
Thank you,
see where
Scott.
those
You
engine
shouldn't have
companies
to
are.
say
And we'll
that,
bring you
but-
another update soon. So for now, reporting live in the Hollywood Hills, I'm John Finelli. I'm going to sit back to you guys in the studio.
All right, John, thank you. We'll look forward to getting back with you when you have a fresh perspective. Margaret Stewart is back with us on the phone with LA City Fire. Margaret, thanks for checking back in with us as we ask you for an update. Obviously, you've had a lot of people that have been heeding the evacuation orders that we were broadcasting immediately after this fire started. What can you share with us, Margaret?
We greatly appreciate all residents adhering to those evacuation orders. As your viewers have been able to see, having our air support, making these water drops, they were able to make tremendous progress against the fire. That's the value that they bring to this type of a blaze. We have firefighters that are providing structural defense, as well as physically ensuring people have evacuated in some key areas, which are north of Franklin, from Fuller to Visla. And we want to ensure that that specific area within our larger evacuation zone, that specific spot is of utmost concern right now. And so firefighters are going door to door in that area.
So that's going to include Camino Palmero Street, which runs between Vista and Fuller, and that one little pocket there that pushes right up against the canyon.
Yes, it would be everything in between there. We know there's apartments.
DG, how about the ash on your car when you go outside in the morning? I've spent many summers in the South Bay, and I can't even remember what summer it was, 2021 or maybe 22. There were fires far away from the South Bay. I was in Manhattan Beach or Hermosa, and you'd come out in the morning, there'd be ash all over your car. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, they don't know how the fire started. Could be a brush fire. They just don't know. Chloe is in Long Beach. The air is awful here. This truly is not, and you're far away, right? Long Beach is pretty far. No one can do anything with the wind. I know the Santa Ana winds are insane. They had gusts yesterday that were up to 100 miles an hour. I want to show you some pictures of Pacific Palisades. This is in the Wrap, and the CEO, editor of the Wrap, her name is Sharon Waxman. She took these photographs herself, and this is the burned out. This is Pacific Palisades today. This is devastating. It's like apocalyptic. I was talking to a friend today, and he had to evacuate Santa Monica, and he said, it's like an apocalypse. Palisades is gone. And we didn't speak on the phone. It was over text, but I could feel his emotion. It's just this heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. And here's her article. Pacific Palisades is gone. Up close and on the ground, it's even worse. On Wednesday, walking through the abandoned Palisades village with tables and tall metal heaters tossed about by the wind like children's toys, a female voice eerily sounds over a loudspeaker. A fire has been detected. Please leave the village immediately. A not unpleasant bell sounds several times before she repeats the announcement. I feel certain I've seen this before in a movie. The upscale outdoor village mall with everything from Lululemon to Yves Saint Laurent to Erewhon Market, where you can get a pressed juice for a mere $16, is half intact. YSL is fine. But across the street, another unidentifiable store is a blackened hulk. The Italian restaurant Portavia seems fine, but Serena and Lily next door is burned. This is where much of the Hollywood community lives and spends leisure time. An idyllic suburban paradise, perched high above the Pacific. Directors like Steven Spielberg, actors like Tom Hanks and wife Rita Wilson, producers like Jason Blum and Brian Grazer, lawyers, creative execs, writers. Developer Rick Caruso launched this upscale playground in 2018, and it's been a hub ever since. In 24 hours, it's mostly gone. Here's some more pictures. It's on Temescal Canyon Road. The gas station in the Palisades, gone. Can't believe those gas pumps didn't explode. I wonder if they were able to do something about them. An apartment building on Sunset was still on fire on Wednesday. These were just posted like before I went on the air. The remains of the Pearson Playhouse. Palisades is gone. The burned shell of Casa Nostra restaurant, Pacific Palisades Village. I mean, Child's Swing. Oh, it's heartbreaking. Looks like a war zone. It's apocalyptic. I mean, insanity. And then some stores right next door to the ones that are burned are not. Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. Thank you. Something is so funny, Auntie Bev. Can we please pause all the politics and conspiracy theories until the fires are contained? Focus on the safety of all involved and figure out the rest later. I agree. Back to the Hollywood Hills.
Even though they may still be considered safe, I use air quotes lightly because we've seen what can happen. It's better to go than when you've got flames coming at you.
Yeah, and especially if you're in that zone, Margaret, for those that might take a little bit longer to get ready, if you see that you're in that zone, perhaps you're a caretaker of the elderly, or the elderly that are on their own might need a little bit more extra time. Probably a good idea to just heed that warning and get your go bag ready to go. As we look at this fire, Margaret, they have made so much progress with these water drops, and it looks like there's just one flank right here that is troubling. But how many acres did it burn, and do we have containment numbers by any chance? And what can you tell us is the latest update on the Sunset fire?
Unless the Sunset has.
We don't have any containment numbers at this time. The initial acreage was estimated to be 10. We obviously know it's more than that. It's probably approaching 100, but we don't have any confirmed measured acreage.
All right, Margaret Stewart, thanks again for taking the time to update our viewers. The conversation is invaluable, specifically as it related to those evacuation orders that you helped us broadcast a short time ago. Margaret, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
All right. And just to reiterate, as we go to Courtney, what Margaret just said is that those who are north of Franklin on Vista and Fuller and El Camino Real really need to evacuate, because even though it might look like that the flames are laying down right now and that they might have some kind of control over it with those airdrops and water drops, the reality is that, fires are unpredictable, winds are unpredictable, and we just need those people that are up on the foothills to get out of harm's way and to evacuate.
All right, so Courtney Friel in the newsroom, who has new video coming in of the situation in the Hollywood Hills as it relates to the Sunset Fire. Court, what do you have?
Right. Last time I talked with you, I mentioned that Michael Carney, a friend who lives at Curson Avenue, just below Sunset Boulevard, he was on his roof and he took some video for us, and he was kind of trapped. He said that he was looking towards the Pacific Palisades fire and that he turned around and noticed that this small fire cropped up quickly. And within 5 minutes, he says it was about 10 times the size. And then the entire hillside was engulfed in flames within 20 minutes. And look, he's panning down right there. That is Curson Ave. And he didn't really know what to do. Like, he's staying put right now because he feels kind of like he's trapped, but also he went back up on, that's from his roof, that angle. It kind of feels like it's dying down. And as John reported, it's kind of seems a little more under control, that the firefighters, are doing a really good job with this because they have those water resources this time. So I just wanted to share those images with you. Another point I just wanted to get across for the Sunset Fire, an emergency shelter is at the Pan Pacific Recreation Center on the 7600 block of Beverly Boulevard. So if you don't have a place to go, we're telling everyone to head south, but you can go there for emergency shelter. Sending it back to you.
All right. And for those that might be unaware, Pan Pacific Park is right next to the Grove. It is that park that's right there at the Grove, past Fairfax. So you can go inside. It's not going to be at the front. It's going to be inside where that recreation is. So just so that you'd be aware that that's where they're accepting people. All
right. We're tracking the Sunset Fire, also looking at the Palisades Fire. Rachel Menitoff is there for us once again tonight with new pictures for us. Rachel.
Micah, yeah, we're on Sunset and Monument right now, typically a very populated, busy area, but now it's a ghost town. There's really no one around here except for media and a couple of first responders. We're seeing a lot of firefighters, a lot of rapid response teams from all over California converging on this area. And you might remember in our last live shot, there were a bunch of fire trucks that drove past us. I've learned that they're heading toward Topanga Canyon. There is a fire on the north side of Topanga Canyon. A lot of people over there are apparently trying to fortify their homes, trying to protect their homes from the fire, which has spread in a northerly direction. An eerie feeling around here. You can probably hear this alarm that just keeps going off in the background. We've got an apocalyptic scene at this Chase Bank, which is completely destroyed. There are a couple of flames inside. It doesn't seem like the fire is spreading significantly. And of course, first responders have to prioritize what they respond to. What we've been noticing is the stark contrast between a building like this one and say the Pharmaca right next door. It's amazing. It's completely unscathed.
That's what I was saying.
And then we're on the other side of the street where there's a Chipotle, a Boca, an ice cream shop, a doctor's office, an eyeglass store. All of those completely unscathed, but then you have these individual buildings that were engulfed in flames, and that's what a lot of the neighborhoods around here look like too. You have one or two homes that are completely fine, and then 2, 3, or 4 homes that are decimated. And people are understandably curious and concerned. They've been coming back to their homes today. A lot of young people have been devastated to learn that their family home is no longer. That's been a tough pill to swallow. You see a couple of the police cars coming down this way. It seems as though, they're just heading to these hot spots from one spot to another and doing their best to prioritize areas where they can fortify structures, where they can do structure protection, and where they can save homes. Obviously, a building like this one, this Chase building, is a total loss at this point. This is not something that they can save, but there are other areas and other homes that they are able to save. We caught up with an Army reservist who was just driving by. He stopped to talk to us. He's from Long Beach. He was in the Army for many years, and he's heading up to Topanga Canyon right now just to help, just to offer his services. He says, you know, he was in the Army and his duty is to protect and serve, and that's exactly what he's doing tonight. Listen to what he told us.
So I think Jimmy Carter said it best. Maybe we can't help everybody, but all of us can help someone, and someone's losing their house today. So I think that that's the most important part, right? Like, besides the politics, besides the distinctions of religion, besides all the nonsense and the noise that's going on nationally, what matters today is that people are losing their livelihoods, they're losing homes, people are dying on top of that hill. Anytime something's happening, and maybe I'm not as strong as I used to be, maybe I'm not as fast as I was when I was in the infantry in my 20s, but I can still grab a shovel and do what I need to do.
Micah, it's an eerie feeling out here. It's nearly empty, except for a couple of cars. There are still some lights on, but it's pretty dark for the most part. We've got this alarm ringing, and it's a ghost town. At 8 o'clock at night, this would be a bustling area. People eating, people shopping, hanging out. But obviously it's now within the evacuation zone and an area that people should avoid. So a very strange feeling out here tonight. I'll send it back to you.
You know, the words from that young man, that is the spirit that will be required here in Southern California to turn this corner and see the sunlight again from all of us.
Yeah, to do this together.
Yeah.
You know, it is just like we say, heartbreaking to see.
Yeah.
It's affected so many people that we know personally, and
yep.
You know, it's frightening to truly to be
so frightening. According to the New York Times latest you know, they're doing like a, you know, latest breaking news type stuff. The Sunset Fire in the Hollywood Hills has grown quickly since it started just before 6 p.m. Pacific. It now encompasses 50 acres, up from 20 acres 2 hours ago, according to CAL FIRE's latest update. And fire officials for the city of Beverly Hills are closely monitoring the blaze just northeast of them in the Hollywood Hills. The city of Beverly Hills said that extensive fire resources were being deployed to stop the spread of the fire, but warned residents to be ready in case of a mandatory evacuation. This is a reminder to have your emergency kit ready to go, they said. Let me show you some pictures that I have. All right, hang on. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this. Let me see if I put it in this Adobe player, you might not need to hear it. Let's see. All right, this is, okay, so those of you who know the area, this is the PCH from Dukes up to the Malibu Pier. It doesn't really need sound, so if you can't hear it, it's just to give you a visual. This is from earlier today. This was a video that was sent to me from a friend. Yeah. Can you hear the sound on this or no? Because I think they come up on Mastro's and Mastro's is on fire. Yeah. Oh, yes, I do. Sure. Thank you. I don't think I can get CNN on YouTube unless they're streaming live on YouTube. Yeah, I mean, they're just talking to each other in the car, and she's saying, "Oh my God, oh my God." And then she says, "There's Mastro's. Mastro's is on fire." Wait, here's another one. I guess this was the one I meant to show you. Hold on. No, because this is where they were. Yeah, they were in the car coming up on Topanga. So let me see if I can play this one for you. Okay, this one. Crazy, right? They're okay, thank God, but it's insane. I just heard from Collier. He says, I said, "I hope you're safe and evacuated." He said, "We're still here. We'll see how things play out, but for now we are safe just south of the evacuation zone." And I said, "If you're not still alive, do you want to come on?" And he said, "I would, but I'm on my way to meet a client who flew in as this mess was unfolding. What luck." So I'm glad that Collier Landry is safe and that he's okay right now. And this is a scene out of a movie. This is like an apocalypse. It's insane. I have some more photos from Manhattan Beach I can show you. This is taken just a couple of hours ago from the Strand in Manhattan Beach, from the pier. Hang on. Oops. Hello. All right, this is, I don't know, something's going on with my computer. It's like not wanting to work very well. It's not really working. Hold on. Oh, I know. They want me to open it with the QuickTime Player. I don't know. This Mac is like ridiculous. StreamYard sucks. And they doubled their prices too. Can you believe this? Okay, here we go. This is the Manhattan Beach Pier. You can see all that smoke. Look at that. That's pretty far away from Santa Monica. I mean, that's a good, well, it's not miles wise. It's maybe 12, 15 miles, but it can take you like a half an hour to get there. Yeah, that's the Manhattan Beach Pier. Oh, you're from there? That's where I spend my summers, girl. I love it. If I could move there, I would move there in a second. That's what it looks, no C2. And it smells. You can smell it. Yeah. I mean, you can't predict. See what the latest is on the Sunset Fire on fire.ca.gov. It's up to 50 acres. And they still have the mandatory evacuations in effect. So I don't know why they're saying that they think it's partially contained. We got any boots on the ground here? Let's hear the KTLA weather girl. I'm gonna call her weather girl. All right, don't get offended.
Been extended until 10 p.m. but to actually allow for the sea breeze to start moving back in, and that is good, even if it's just here and there.
Friday. It's going to continue. Today's Wednesday.
Because we haven't had any of that onshore flow at all, like none. And that's really important. And as I mentioned, we are going to see some of those localized stronger north to northeast winds as we head into Thursday, into Friday. So again, really important. The current winds out there, take a look. We're still looking at stronger winds in Van Nuys out of the north at 17 miles per hour, still looking at double-digit wind speeds in Burbank at 12, and even 13 miles per hour, or 23, pardon me. This is going to be in Ontario, and these winds are still out of the northeast, in Corona, out of the east. So we're not quite done with those easterly winds just yet. So we need to keep that in mind and be mindful as we move through the next few days. So I want to talk about some of the winds that we saw early this morning.
100 miles
Mount
an hour.
Lukens in the eastern end of the San Gabriel Valley saw wind gusts at 5 o'clock this morning at
Santa Monica,
100 miles per
86
hour.
miles an hour.
Magic Mountain Park Truck Trail, pardon me, 90.
I lived in Boulder for many
Saddle
years.
Peak in the
Grey's
Santa
Anatomy.
Monica Mountains at 86, and Deer Creek
Go Buffs.
also in the Santa Monica Mountains, also in the 80s, 80 to be exact. So we have had some improvement in terms of the high wind warning. Unfortunately, it has been extended until 10 p.m., but the winds have been reduced. The wind speeds are no longer going to be in the 80 to 90 and 100 mile per hour gusts. Now we're looking at maximum gusts to 60 miles per hour, and most of the sustained winds will be somewhere between 25 and 40. And I've been looking at the sustained winds near those fires, like perhaps like along the Pacific Palisades and along the Eaton Fire, Henninger Flats, which again had really strong winds, 90 miles per hour earlier this evening, earlier this morning, is now currently at about 10 or under 10. And that has been the trend there, which again, also good news. We are seeing a small place, a small part of the viewing area where we aren't going to be dealing with any winds at all. However, we're still going.
I don't know what to say at all, but I'd rather be saying nothing and having you guys to talk to than sitting here by myself and freaking out like I was before I came on the air at the last minute. So thank you all for being here with me.
To be looking at winds near
you,
Desert
Romy.
Hot Springs, along the Banning Pass, and of course also along Palm Springs. And then the red flag warning will continue until Friday evening, and that's because even though the winds are going to be intermittent and they're not going to be quite as strong, there's still a lot of very dry vegetation that is conducive to rapid spread and growth. If another fire, heaven forbid, should be set off or should start. I'll have another update for you guys shortly. I'll send it back to you guys for now.
All right, Vera, thank you. Well, as we've been reporting, 5 people have lost their lives in the Altadena area.
Our Rick Chambers spoke to family members of one of those.
Thank you, Nina, for the cash app. She says, I'm in Northern California. Thank you for covering this. This is so sad. Thank you, Nina.
Victims. He's live in Altadena with the heartbreaking details. Hi, Rick.
Hi, Micah. Yeah,
We're not getting
we are
political
high in
here
the
at all,
hills
so
above
over it. Get
Altadena,
over it,
and
'cause
this
nobody's
is the
getting political here.
neighborhood where, as you
I'm not
mentioned, one
allowing
of those 5 victims has been found. We want to roll some tape here so you can meet this gentleman. His name is Victor Shaw. He is 66 years old. We're told that he had some very serious health problems, didn't get around very well, but he lived with his only sibling, his younger sister, Sherry, and they were living at the family home here. They lived together, and they were together yesterday when this fire broke out and started consuming structure after structure. Sherry said that she called for Victor to get out, and then she fled the flames. She said that he yelled that he was going to stay behind and try to fight the fire. Well, sadly, when they returned to the family property today, they found his body lying outside the home. He still had the garden hose in his hands.
When I went back in
That'll
and
probably
yelled out
strike
his
me later,
name,
Gloria, but it's okay.
he didn't reply back, and I had to get out because the embers were so big and flying like a firestorm that I had to save myself. And I looked behind me,
0% containment. That's
and
what
the
I was
house
reading
was starting
too,
to go up
Janai.
in flames, and I had to leave.
We actually did see him laying on the side of the road with the hose. It looks like he was trying to save the home that his parents had had for almost 55 years.
I fell to the ground, and I didn't want to look at him. They just told me that he was lying on the ground and he looked serene, as if he was at peace.
Well, unfortunately, his body is still up here and on the family property. The coroner has not been able to get up here yet and retrieve it. In driving in to do this, we had to avoid a number of downed wires and trees. So it's understandable that the coroner has not been able to get in here. And considering everything that is going on in the neighborhood and around Altadena, it's unknown when they'll be able to get in. So it's a very sad time for Sherry. She not only lost the family property and the home, but she lost her brother as well in the fire. In Altadena, I'm Rick Chambers. Guys, let me throw it back to you in the studio.
Gosh, as you describe, how he was found, I mean, it just, I think we all gasped and just, you feel for the family. And so our condolences to them and really appreciate them talking to you.
Let's look at this. This looks like the area that we were looking at before along the PCA. If it looks like somewhere else to you.
West Sunset Boulevard and Pacific Palisades. This feels like a scene that you would see in a movie. All these cars were left here abandoned yesterday, and emergency trucks had to go through with a bulldozer to clear way so that they could get up to where the fires were. So all these cars were just left here during the evacuation. Massive gridlock. See, the fire went through here and even burned some of these cars that were left behind. Look at this. All these cars are wrecked.
Thank you, Susan. I'm not tolerating that. I have a 0 tolerance policy for this today. I mean, it's wild that people are there's nothing funny about this to me. And right now, I'm not talking about the politics. I'm not going to talk about the mayor. I'm not going to talk about any of that stuff. And the reason that the fire hydrants were empty and all of that stuff right now, this is about helping people who need help. And thank God for all the good Samaritans and all the firefighters that are coming in from other states and everywhere. The world has gone mad, little cupcake. What is it? What is it? What is going on in the world? What is wrong with people? What is wrong with people? I don't know what is wrong with people. Hold on. Let's get back to where we just were. This is from UC San Diego Alert California webcam. Devastating. This Sunset Fire update. It says the most intense fire activity is occurring on the southeastern side, where helicopters are actively engaged. On the eastern side, there are active flames within the interior of the fire, but the perimeter is holding well thanks to a fire road and ground crews in place. At the heel of the fire, active flames have been extinguished, though smoldering continues within the interior. This information comes from the helicopter coordinator, HELCO, via radio communications. Evacuation information: an evacuation center for the Sunset Fire has been established at the Pan Pacific Recreational Center located at 7600 Beverly Boulevard, Los Angeles, according to an update from the LAFD. And that was just about 3 minutes ago. That is when it all started. I agree. Prayers up for everyone who's affected, everyone. The winds were so strong last night in the South Bay. Is anybody here? Some people said you used to be from the South Bay. Anybody here from the South Bay? Like Manhattan Beach, Redondo, Hermosa. The winds were so strong last night that people that I know that live there said they thought their roof was going to blow off. Like, that's how scary it was. Let's go back to KTLA.
Not just with homes up in the Hollywood Hills, but a lot of apartment buildings as you get closer to Hollywood Boulevard and Sunset Boulevard. A lot of people told to pack up and leave in a moment's notice. A fire that really got going as a result of the Santa Ana winds. Certainly not the kind of problematic winds we had last night, but nonetheless a problem as firefighters are already stretched
California
thin, trying
native
to battle
in the
so
South
many
Bay,
blazes
right? You were scared
throughout
too?
LA
Did
City
you
and
sleep at
LA
all?
County. And if you come back to us live, I want to introduce you to one of the residents we've been speaking with here. This is Craig Cohendarfer. Did I say that correct?
You did.
And Craig lives right here in the evacuation zone. Craig, explain what that looked like. I know we talked about this a little bit earlier. Explain what it looked like and what was going through your mind as all this was happening.
There were tremendous flames shooting up all over Runyon Canyon. And as I could see it coming down the canyon from, I guess it started at the top, extreme anxiety and concern that if it jumped and started to catch homes on fire, that this could be very, very, very bad for this town. Because if it started here and moved to the east of us and caught condominiums or apartment buildings on fire, I think it would have just absolutely gone haywire and out of control.
Sure. And where those fire trucks are, I mean, you could see the flames shooting up here at the top of that hill.
Yeah, absolutely. I have been coming out monitoring, packing to go if I absolutely have to. But was really paying attention to what was going on with those flames. And I think those water drops have made a tremendous difference.
Yeah, something that they couldn't do last night because of those ferocious Santa Ana winds. Let me ask you this question. We've seen the fires break out in the Pacific Palisades. A lot of those neighborhoods certainly have a lot of homes, but also a lot of wooded areas. Did it ever occur to you that it would happen right here?
Over the years, of course, knowing that we're so close to Runyon Canyon and that it is also a wooded area and there's a lot of dry brush there, that is possible. But in terms of what happened in Pacific Palisades, I felt that Runyon Canyon was contained and didn't have as much acreage as
I'm so sorry, Maddie Funk.
That could burn. So I felt a little bit more comfortable, but was always acutely aware that it could happen.
And we see the police cars going by behind you. Have you heard them telling people to evacuate?
The only thing at this stage that they absolutely said they wanted to keep people away from is being north of Franklin, and we are just south of Franklin.
Okay. All right, Craig. Well, I'm glad you and your partner are safe. I'm glad it looks like firefighters are getting the upper hand on the Sunset Fire, due in no small part to all of those helicopters that are able to drop water. So anyway, thank you so much for your time. Okay, so good news out here. We don't see the flames at the top of the hill like we saw a short time ago. I was explaining that earlier in some of the viewer video that we were showing you, but good news out here now that it appears firefighters are getting or making progress on the Sunset Fire. And as you heard from Craig right there, just a huge relief for residents who live just below Runyon Canyon. That's the latest from the Hollywood Hills. I'm John Finolio. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
John, it seems as though there's a bit of a sense of calm there as opposed to what we saw a couple of hours ago and the aerials we saw of the gridlock, people trying to get out. What are you seeing in the area around you? I see a lot of cars moving. I know the order was to move south and frankly to move south past Sunset, maybe down to Santa Monica or Melrose before you go east or west. What's your sense of it now on the roads there?
Well, we have seen a heavy police presence here. LAPD has been patrolling these neighborhoods, all of these streets here, and telling people who are not residents, or telling everyone to evacuate, but especially telling a lot of looky-loos to get out of the area, that they have no business being here. And because this is such a densely populated area, there are a lot of people
No rain coming.
Who want to come up and look and want to see what's happening. You know, you could see these flames from the Hollywood freeway, and you know, everyone in Hollywood wants to take a video, wants to take a picture, and so a lot of people have been flocking to this area despite warnings from fire personnel and law enforcement saying that they need to get out of here. But police have done a good job of ushering some of those folks out of here. Like you heard from the gentleman we just spoke with, Craig, you know, they got the evacuation order, but then they heard the helicopters. And despite all the chaos of so many people who did, in fact, heed those orders, I mean, we saw people walking down the street with suitcases, with their pets in their arms, just ready to get out of here. And that was happening even further south of Franklin, closer to Sunset, all of that. And despite all of that, some of these residents stayed because they heard the helicopters. And when they saw what was once big orange flames just up the hill here, turning into white smoke, well, they started to feel a major sense of relief. But you probably saw from Sky 5 just the gridlock, because so many people did, in fact, heed those orders to evacuate. They were told to head south. So, I mean, we just saw tail lights of people trying to get out of here, basically from Beverly Hills all the way through West Hollywood, up all the way to Beverly Hills, and then all the way east to the 101, as people were trying to get out of this area as the Sunset Fire really took off before water-dropping aircraft could get on top of it. Micah?
All right, I'll take it from
somebody who was in the area said that cell service might not be working. So KDK, if your sister's not answering the phone, that may be the issue. So please keep us posted. KDK, Sharon says she's in Irvine. It's windy, but no fires.
Here, John, thank you. And from John Fenolio there by the fire, we want to go over to Sandra Mitchell. She's down by Laurel Canyon and Sunset Boulevard.
AJ's house
there
is
on the
not out
Sunset
of danger,
Strip.
but he's fine right now. Nick Rocco was here, Kylie, and so he was telling us that. So thanks for asking.
Which really was the border of where those
I think a lot of these people just don't want to take any more chances. You mentioned that we were on the Sunset Strip earlier. We saw the traffic congestion, people trying to get out of the area, many of them fleeing west on Sunset Boulevard, Hollywood Boulevard, and traffic was really at a standstill. Still an active fire scene here. We've got a lot of engine companies responding. When we were out on the Sunset Strip, we got a chance to talk to Jamie Masada. He is the owner of the world famous Laugh Factory. Many of the businesses ordered to close in that area because of the threat of fire. They just wanted people out of the area. The Laugh Factory is closed tonight, but Jamie tells us he was happy to open his doors to the firefighters. Let's listen to Jamie Masada.
The business doesn't mean anything, but the most important thing, the life of people, animal, and everything, they got hurt. That's the most important. Everything else we could rebuild as long as nobody get hurt. That's the most important thing.
So you've offered the Laugh Factory to the firefighters, to the responders tonight. Tell me about that.
No, I just came in. I said, hey, you guys want it? One of the guys, Jason, he said he's in charge of it. He said, Jamie, you're always supporting us. We love you. And he gave me a hug. He said, when I need you, I have your number. I'll call you. I said, okay.
Already, so we started to see the traffic back up. The businesses being ordered to close around the Chateau Marmont area off the Sunset Strip.
Wow.
This is the area of Fuller Avenue. We've moved a little bit up into the Hollywood Hills. Again, it seems like the panic of the situation has definitely subsided. People feeling a little bit more comfortable to return to their apartments and condominiums, gather some of their belongings. But again, many people say they will not be staying here tonight. We're live in the Hollywood Hills. Cher, send it back to you.
Let's just pause that for a second and put this up for anyone who may need it. Airbnb is offering temporary housing to people impacted by the Los Angeles wildfires. The organization has partnered with 211 LA to connect people with a free place to stay. A devastating photo, but this is actually from the Airbnb website itself. And they say, to support residents who have been displaced from their homes or forced to evacuate by the wildfires, Airbnb.org is working with 211 LA, which serves Los Angeles County, to offer free temporary housing Stays are completely free for guests and are funded by Airbnb.org and the generosity of Airbnb hosts, many of whom offer their home for free or at a discount through Airbnb.org. And then it says how it works. And that's how it works. Let's see. They are specifically focused on residents who have either lost their home or been forced to evacuate in the Altadena, Malibu, Pacific Palisades, Pasadena, Santa Monica, and Sylmar areas. I'm sure this is going to expand to include the Hollywood Hills. Impacted residents can request assistance for temporary housing support from Airbnb.org by filling out this intake form with 211LA. So if you go to this website, Airbnb.org, you can find this link. Yeah, love to see the humanity too. Planet Fitness also, right? Planet Fitness offering showers, chargers. Somebody said showers, chargers. What else? Something else. Horrific.
Sandra, you're very close to where we did see active flames. I'm just wondering if what you can see, if anything, from your vantage point as it relates to the fire activity.
I can't see any active flames from here. I do not think they were visible from this area at any point tonight, so that would not be unusual. I can't really give you an update on the flames. I think John has a better vantage point of that. What I can tell you is a lot of these people out in the streets right now, they're watching to
Ann Smith is telling us that Uber is free for shelters, going to shelters as well. Thank you, Ann.
see if they get the go-ahead to return home, grab a few more belongings, and then get out for the rest of the night. There's not tremendous winds in the air right now. That also has calmed down, and the smoke certainly not threatening as it was early before when we arrived on the scene. There was a lot thicker smoke. That is also subsided.
And Sandra, you said that you're on Fuller right now. Is that correct, at the base of the entrance for Runyon Canyon?
Yeah, Fuller Avenue just behind us right here. You know, Runyon Canyon, a really popular, really beautiful hiking spot. That's where the fire started. So we're just off that. Again, it appears that Los Angeles City Fire Department, a lot of the engines being pulled off, at least from this location.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't seem like they're leaving with any sense of urgency. So I don't think they're going to another flank of the fire, something that's sparked up anywhere else. It seems like really things are just beginning to wrap up, at least at this location.
All right, Sandra Mitchell-Force in Hollywood. Thank you. To meteorologist Vera Jimenez now and an update on the weather.
Thank you so much, Micah. Yeah, and what the information that I'm actually getting as well coincides with what Sandy is showing. And from Sandy's picture, I'm looking at the readings around that area.
Okay, we kind of just saw this a couple of minutes ago, so it doesn't look like the winds are dying down anytime soon, but they're a little bit less than they were before. So let's see what she's got going on here.
5 miles per hour. And then that's 2:30 in the afternoon. Again, the winds are gone, but as we continue into Friday evening, the winds return to the high desert areas and along our mountains, but primarily east of there over our desert areas. And so again, there, because there is very little friction, the winds are also going to be pretty gusty. That's Friday, 11:30 p.m.
Love you too,
And now
Princess
look
Mish.
at these winds. Look at the arrows. They are no
Welcome,
longer
Jean
coming from the
Hallett.
east or the northeast. They are actually coming from the west. They are moving onshore. And that means that we are going to see the reintroduction of moisture into Southern California, which we desperately need. We can go ahead and end it there, and I'll toss it back to you guys, or I can give you the quick 7-day forecast. All right, so 71 miles per hour, 71 degrees tomorrow in the low desert. Remember, the low desert is different from the high desert. 69 on Friday, 71 on Saturday.
Thank you. She says, Rosalie says, well, thank you for tuning in from Canada. She says, thanks for doing this. Crying in Alberta, Canada over this, and having the company helps. Prayers for everyone. That's all we can really do is try and get the information out to everyone, where to go, what to do in the future. If you ever need to know what to put in a go bag, where the shelters are. Airbnb is offering free lodging. There's nothing that I can do sitting here by myself. So I figure I might as well come on here and talk to you about it. I started reading Shari Frankie's memoir today, and I was going to report on that. And then I just could not stop thinking about this. So this is what I'm doing today. I was going to talk about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's lawsuits. And then I thought to myself, how can I talk about anything else? How can I even bring up anything else other than this. This is what needs to be talked about. This is what people need to know about. People want to help. My audience wants to help. I know you guys want to help. And I know you guys are already out there. A lot of you live there, and you can tell us what you need and let us know how we can help, because we feel helpless sitting here on the other coast, the wrong coast, instead of being on the best coast. No shade to anybody who lives here in New York, but LA is my magical place. So
Saturday. And finally, for the LA coastal basin, the winds will diminish 73 tomorrow and 68 and 66 for daytime highs on Friday and Saturday. And that's a bit of an update. I'll send it back to you guys for now.
All right, Vera, thank you. You are watching special coverage of the fire emergency in Southern California. It is 9 o'clock. And good evening once again. I'm Micah Ullman.
Thank you,
I'm
Milo's
Cher
mom.
Calvin.
I
We
actually
continue.
put up a list earlier before. She says that'd be something great to discuss, how to prepare a go bag. Everybody, no matter where you live, should have one. I have a small Go Safe waterproof, because Houston floods. I did it earlier. So if you scroll back, if you're just joining, and I put up the list, and I told everybody to screenshot it for later, so you can go back and you can screenshot it for later. And when we were covering the whole like Ruby, Frankie, Jody, Hildebrand thing, we're like, oh, these people prepping for the end of days. And remember, I forget his name now, that young boy who was kidnapped by his mother and her brother, and they thought he was the Messiah or something, and they found him in Alaska, and they were preparing for the end of days. Maybe that's not such a bad idea. Maybe those people are not, maybe those people, there's a reason to have a safe room, and there's a reason to have all the supplies, and maybe it's not so crazy. People used to think it was crazy, right? Yeah, everyone should have a bag ready to go, and have a fireproof box somewhere with your important documents in it that you can take with you, not something that needs like a safe that's bolted to the floor.
Our live coverage of the wildfire.
Let's pull this up a little bit.
1,500 acres and at least 5 people died burning.
Way.
Here we go. This
Live
is
coverage
evacuation
of the
warnings.
wildfires raging across Southern California.
We want to begin with a quick update on all of the fires.
Yes,
the
we
details
covered
as we
this
know
earlier,
them
Audra.
tonight.
It's
The
horrible.
newest fire, the Sunset Fire, that has been burning in the Hollywood Hills. That one started just within the last couple of hours. Mandatory evacuations are underway.
The Eaton fire in the San Gabriel Valley exploding in size overnight, burning more than 10,500 acres, and at least 5 people have been killed in the blaze, and at least 100 structures have been destroyed.
In the Pacific Palisades, of course, the Palisades fire has burned over 15,800 acres, over 1,000 structures.
Don't buffer on me. You're buffering. I think the internet is broken. Oh, it's going to give me the aw snap. You ever get the aw snap? What the duck, man? Do I have too many tabs open? I'm on the Ethernet. What the duck? All right, we'll have to go back to that. Let's come here instead. Let's go back to all the fires. So here are the current emergency incidents in California. Let's stop buffering for a second and then start it again. I don't know what's going on. Maybe YouTube is breaking. When I started covering this earlier today, or when I started thinking about covering it and just talking to you about the current devastation in Palisades, there were only 5 fires. Now it seems like there are more. So we've got the Palisades fire, which is 15,832 acres, 0% contained. The Eaton fire, which is the other big fire right now, that's 10,600 acres, 0% contained. The Hearst fire, 850 acres, 0% contained. The Lydia fire, that's new. That wasn't here earlier. That was 348 acres, 40% contained. The Sunset fire, which we were just looking at in the Hollywood Hills, is at 50 acres currently, 0% contained. I thought there was a second page. Maybe not. Here's a 3D map, which isn't really very helpful. I'm not very good at maps. There are other people who are way better at maps than I am. Like Mike I'm profiling evil. He's always good with maps. Gisela, she's always good with maps. Not me so much. I mean, and they're everywhere. One, two, three, four, five. He's downtown LA. Here's Long Beach, where one of our viewers said she's in Long Beach and she could smell him all the way down here. There's an evacuation warning in Palos Verdes. What? Hold on. There's an evacuation warning? There's no fires around there? Why? Okay, I don't want to give out any misinformation, so forget about this because this map is a beta, which means probably it's like not really accurate. I don't know. And if you click on, you can go to this website, it's fire.ca.gov, and you can click on the specific fire and it'll tell you the evacuation orders. And still for the Sunset Fire, it's Laurel Canyon Boulevard on the west to Mulholland Drive on the north, to the 101 on the east, down to Hollywood Boulevard on the south. Immediate threat to life. Get out now. Go. Don't wait. Go.
$1,800 acres, over 1,000 structures.
They don't want to cooperate with me. Buffering, buffering, buffering. Firefighters are amazing. When they see stray animals, they always have food and water. Yeah. People are leaving their pets behind. It's a problem. They have shelters also for pets. So that is good to know. Let's see what else we can find here because YouTube doesn't want to work right now. This was posted by KTLA just 6 minutes ago. Palisades fire torches 1,000 structures, most destructive in Los Angeles history. Wow. That's from KTLA. Ten minutes ago, City Calabasas posted the Los Angeles County Fire reports Palisades fire acreage at over 15,000, which is expected to increase with more accurate mapping in daylight hours. The fire is holding at the ridge line near Piuma and Piuma, is that how I pronounce that? And Saddle Peak below Montanito. Winds have slowed, but the red flag warning is what? Still in effect until tomorrow at 6 p.m. Calabasas evacuation warnings are still in place. Please follow all directions and move yourself to safety. For current information, visit protect.genesys.com. Well, my friends, the live coverage does not want to cooperate with me. So thoughts, comments, concerns, prayers. Yeah, just awful. Deanne, 1128 Don Airway has a fire now. These are mansions. I got this from the LA scanner. Is that up on the Twitter yet? You know, I don't usually like Twitter, but I'll go there for breaking news and for you guys. Let's see. Because we don't want to post any misinformation, so I got to have some kind of confirmation of it. Oh, everybody is like still on the Twitter talking about Karen Reed's hearing yesterday. Is like, okay, can we table that until like tomorrow? New fire in Studio City. Hang on. Okay, so Palos Verdes was Studio City. Let me check that. Studio City fire is coming. It is coming up. Hold on. That's on the scanner. You're right. Hold on. Oh my God. This is never going to end, you guys. You guys, this is not going to end. Hold on. This is on the Los Angeles City scanner. Multiple structures on fire along Sunswept Drive in Studio City. Well, Mish, call your brother right now. Oh, you keep getting all snapped out of here? Yeah, I'm telling you, YouTube's got an issue right now. Someone torch a house in Studio City. Here's what's going on right
You see a
now.
lot of the houses missing there. You can see the
This is near Ventura
Let me see where
Boulevard.
they went. They may have
and
gone to
Whitsett
get
Avenue.
more water. Yeah, they
This
went
has
to
been burning for a while, though. You see a lot of the houses missing there. You can see the sides of it. So this is crazy. This has been burning for a while.
Have you heard about any evacuations for the surrounding?
I haven't yet because they're still technically dealing with it as a structure fire.
A structure fire?
Let me pull up some of the radio traffic here so I can listen to it. But at this point, I haven't heard anything about evacuations. And let me see what city. Okay, so we just got an update from City Fire. This is a 4-story home that did start in the home. The fire did start in the home.
Now.
They are in defensive mode. They are prioritizing right now defending what they call exposure. So that's everything around it and preventing additional extension into the brush. So that is an update we just got from Margaret Stewart over the LAFD telling us that they are in defensive mode and their priority right now is protecting the exposures, making sure it doesn't spread to any other homes and making sure it doesn't continue to spread to the brush even more so than it already has.
So, Mike, to let our viewers know you
as well. Let me see where they went. They may have gone to get more water. Yeah,
this has been burning for a while, though. You see a lot of the houses missing
Okay, that's
there.
on
You
a
can
loop.
see
I'm going to switch to the main page.
The west of that is where the vegetation fire is and the hillside.
Thank you
and
for
then the
pointing that
actual
out to me,
home that is
viewer.
on fire is further down. It's that 4-story
That's
home.
what they said,
right there
but
on
I don't know what to
Sunswept
believe
Drive,
anymore.
Which they're concerned, as I've been listening to, they're concerned about the balcony collapsing, and we can see that as we watch the wood constantly start to disappear.
KCAL.
Now, initially, you guys, that on the structure on the left there, I thought that may have been a garage. Now I'm not so sure. And Ollie, pan to the left just a little bit. I can't tell if that's a garage or if that's a different home.
Maybe a guest house bottom?
Or right there.
I mean, there's water. I'm seeing
and
water.
right next to the other. No, oh my goodness, it's just hard to decipher exactly what that looks like. Another
That looks
house.
like another home.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like another house. That's completely. Well,
And
that's
that
practically.
roof's about to collapse.
Right, not just in the home. Look around
And
it. Yeah.
is that?
They're saying it
Fire
started.
hose? Yeah, they're putting water on that one too,
on the
Mike.
news
Yeah,
right now.
yeah, you got it from the down on Veneta Place. It looks like shooting water up into it, and then you've got the other truck. I can tell you, they do it. They've got a lot of resources here. They've just upgraded it again to add additional resources to it. But on scene right now, I'm showing
It's like
3
the
engines.
apocalypse.
They just even added even more. So 1, 2, 3, 3 engines are on scene. A truck is on scene. They just requested 1, 2, 3, 4 more engines and then some command staff to help deal with this. But they've still got 6 engines on the way still. And then you got a couple more trucks that are coming as well to help out. But you see the truck right there shooting some water up into it. It's just, I mean.
And we still don't know just how this started. I mean, did it start in the house and then the embers were blown to the nearby homes that are now burning?
Yeah, no,
I'd like to know that.
Yeah, it did come out originally as a house fire. So that was
Inside the house,
inside the house. I don't know which one, right? I don't know if it was the big one that it started in or that smaller one to the left.
They're not sure of. That's why we don't allow misinformation.
But you know what
in the
we have
chat.
to say?
That's
If we didn't have the winds blowing as we have now, we may not have seen these other structures that are nearby on fire. There's a possibility. I mean, we've seen homes that are close enough to one another.
Yeah.
Doesn't take much of a
ton of musicians who live in this area. John Mayer lives up near Pacific Palisades. I was wondering about him earlier.
Resources are
Miles
so spread
Teller's
out
house
right
is
now.
gone.
Fire resources.
And everybody got pretty lucky at that house where we saw the fire in the backyard. I was really worried that was going to catch an eve. For people that want to know more of where we are, if you're not familiar necessarily with Sunswept,
Thank you, Rogue Townie, for your Cash App. Says for California Strong. Thank you.
So just south of this home, up the tree, that's where Tree People is. Off Coldwater Canyon.
Yeah.
I believe that's Fryman Canyon that's back in there. Harvard Westlake is just to the west. So another, very popular spot in the Hollywood Hills. that, you know, if you're hiking through the Tree People or Fryman Canyon, Coldwater Canyon, Fryman Canyon kind of park, you would be able to see that from one of those trails, and you'd look right down on one of those homes. So they're talking more about discussing water drops in that area to see if that would be something that would be feasible in this situation right now.
Well, again, just looking at these pictures, it looks like, you know, we've been looking at horrendous video the last couple of days, or live pictures, but this is something extraordinary to witness right now. And Evelyn, I know you've been following this as well.
Yes.
You know, I've been talking about it doesn't take much of a gust to start a fire to a structure next door.
Yeah.
But, you know, you have to wonder about something like this. And just because of the fire resources that we have spread out right now, the timing couldn't have been worse.
It couldn't be worse. And it makes you wonder. I mean, of course,
Well,
we have
if you're just tuning in, this is a new fire in Studio City. They're saying it's a house fire. They're saying it started inside the house. I don't really know what to believe anymore at this point. List of celebrities so far who have lost their homes, in addition to all the other people that we don't know about who have lost their homes, who are just people like you and me. Paris Hilton watched her home burn on television. We watched that earlier. She posted it on Instagram, I think. Leighton Meester and Adam Brody, who were just at the Golden Globes 2 nights ago, or Sunday night, whenever that was. Miles Teller has lost his home. Eugene Levy, Anthony Hopkins, Billy Crystal, John Goodman. I saw photos of Ben Affleck having to evacuate, going to stay with his ex-wife, Jennifer Garner. There doesn't seem to be any end in sight. There is no rain in the forecast for at least the next 7 to 10 days. And the winds are not really slowing down. Last night, the gusts were up to 100 miles an hour, which is why Pacific Palisades is essentially just gone. Just gone. Check out LA Scanner again. Okay, hold on. Thank you. You guys are so collaborative, and I love you so much. You see how we pivot? This is what we do. We pivot. And idiots are still posting about Karen Reed and Hank Brennan, and it's like LA Scanner was the not that that's not important, but I think this is more important. Is it the one just from 4 minutes ago? Hang on, let's go here. Hold on.
I mean, I would guess to say it's pretty much destroyed. You can see it fully engulfed in flames. And
No,
Chris,
you said
again,
there was something about the evacuation. Hold on. Hold on. You said there was video of the evacuation? It's the Studio City fire. The Divide fire, is that the one you're talking about? I don't know. I'm going to go back to the other live coverage because I can't really find what you were talking about.
Information on this at this point. So this is just me talking.
I did hear them hit that with a helicopter at one point. That was the one I was concerned about. That was
yeah, it's dangerous.
And that one looks like it's okay right now.
Yeah, they got that out, but that was burning.
Right.
Too close too. Okay, here's the collapse once again. Take a look at the right side of your screen. It didn't take long before this four-story
right
home
before our very eyes.
all came tumbling
Oh my God,
down.
This
is like the Twin
Oh, you
Towers.
can imagine.
All over. This is
so many people have lost
everything,
lost their homes, and to see this happen is just so. It's so sad and so devastating. And again, the home right next to it, the one we're looking at there, that looks to be a loss.
Yeah, and that's going to collapse soon.
This
too,
is
if the
Studio
roof
City.
already
This is a
hasn't.
whole new
That's
fire
their next
now.
concern, and that's these hillside excuse me, these hillside homes like that. that's always a concern because those fire crews are downhill from it, and then it collapses and it could collapse onto them. And it looks like that roof is starting to buckle. See on the left side.
It is
there?
starting to buckle.
There it goes.
Well, the good thing is
Oh,
we're
dear.
seeing quite a bit of water pressure being pushed onto those homes. We saw the fire hoses. That looks like some good amount of water that they're putting on there, but It's very difficult to put these flames out. There's just so many.
And at this point, it's we're beyond structure protection. It's just to make sure that these flames don't spread to other structures or other grassy areas that could start.
I mean,
even more fires. And
there's so many things that I want to say right now that I don't
know if
I'm not going to say.
intrigued is the correct terminology to use here, but I am just more interested in how this fire started. Is because it did seem to start
all that we
inside
need
the home.
to do right now is
we've
just
heard
pray.
of embers blowing and catching under an eave and starting the fire from the inside, but it's so far away from. Really, when you think about it.
Yeah, Ventura and Whitsett up and over the hill from the Sunset Fire.
Sunset Fire.
I mean, look at how fast.
The Eaton Fire or the Palisades Fire.
And even like if you look right there, look, Oliver's got that shot at the bottom left of his screen where it's even kind of fallen down into some shrubs right near where the firefighters are. And I'm sure that's not going to cause any issues for anybody, but it just kind of shows you, right
here.
Yeah. And it just kind of shows you kind of where things can go to.
Oh my God!
And that
Princess
almost
Mish,
looks
prayers
like
up for your brother.
Well,
gas maybe?
Yeah, it almost looks like a gas line. The way it's shooting out like that.
Looks like a gas line.
I think that's a gas line. Well, that's concerning as well. We've got a now ruptured gas line that's on fire too to add to the mix.
Oh, that's
well, yeah, that's what I was just thinking, Southern Mom. That's why with many of these evacuation orders, they were telling people to turn off their gas before leaving.
It's just, and you guys, what's crazy about this one too is Oliver was going to look at the Palisades fire. We looked at it from the from the east side of the fire, and I wanted him to come around to the north side, almost to Calabasas, and look at the Palisades fire from that. And as he was flying, I saw the glow from his camera, and I said, "What fire is that?"
I heard you.
Yeah, it's just remarkable that it's like every time I look at the screen, we're looking at a new set of flames.
That's how Mike discovered the Sunset Fire, and I can hear you asking questions. That wait a minute, what fire is that?
Yeah.
And here we are.
And it's a new one.
Here's another one.
And this one's a big one too.
Yeah, it's a huge house, a 4-story house. Let me see if.
Hey, you know what? Is traffic impacted on Ventura Boulevard?
It sounds like they are staging.
We're watching people's lives be destroyed right in front of our eyes. This is live coverage from Studio City. We are watching people's lives be devastated. It is horrific.
People on Ventura Boulevard. So it may be, and Ollie, can you, if you pan down to Ventura, we just want to see if Ventura is impacted right now because Ventura is such a major street. If you pull out and pan down some more, it should be at the bottom of your screen.
Thank you, Laura.
And because I think he's sitting.
Laura says she's 5 to 6 hours from LA near Phoenix. If anyone needs a place to go or needs help, Melanie can get in touch with me. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, he's sitting right on. And they just did another water drop. So Ollie is sitting right on top of Ventura, basically. So it doesn't. There it is. So you can see they've got some fire crew staging. That's the Rocco's, the restaurant I was telling you about right there, and the gas station. So they're going to stage some people up there. It looks like that's not LA City. They got some mutual aid down there already too. So that's kind of nice. They got some help there from some other people. But okay, cool. Thanks, Ollie. We can go back up to the fire now. But yeah, it looks like they're staging some of their resources down there because the other thing that we talk about, and we should have talked about this as well, and I'm sure we did, but during the Sunset Fire is how narrow the streets are in these Hollywood Hills neighborhoods, or even in the hills above Sherman Oaks, Studio City.
Does anybody know the Hollywood Hills, like the Bird Streets, how narrow and windy those streets are, and you can't even park on the street because there's barely enough room for one car to get through?
Listening to that, they're very careful about how many apparatus. Ooh, look at that!
Look at that
power line sparking.
Oh boy,
this just
power lines are sparking.
It seems to get worse and worse.
Oh my God! Look,
we just can't catch a break.
And what's hitting those power lines right now?
It may be just the fact that there's so much heat coming from the fire that is traveling down the line and it's catching it right there.
Oh wow!
So let me look. I mean, you can still see there's some lights on in those homes, so it doesn't look like it took power out, or at least it was able to reroute it. And as Oliver pans out, well, no, it looks kind of dark up around there. It looks like maybe hit and miss though, but
yeah, sporadic. It seems like some have it.
I know the mayor's in Africa. I don't want to talk about that right now.
And a lot of businesses on Ventura.
Thank you, Caroline. I know.
Yeah, tons. And now and then there's a glow over there too, which I don't know what fire that is. Ollie, look up to the left there.
Yeah. Yes,
yeah, what
right?
is that? Let's move around and go see what's on fire over there. I don't know if that's a.
Oh, let's go see what's on fire over there. Like this is some kind of. This is like
I don't know if that's
Wednesday night entertainment.
Maybe an ember cast from the other fire or from this fire, but Oliver's and Dylan are doing just a fantastic job up there tonight, and they're going to move the helicopter around, and we'll see what's on fire over there. And let me see if City Fire's got any attention to it with a water dropping helicopter. They're still
Viewcrest.
Yeah, Viewcrest Road. So that's got to be an Embercast from this. So Viewcrest is just to the southeast of where this fire is burning on Sunswept. So that must have been a pretty decent sized Embercast that caught over there. And now hopefully this is, and we won't know until we come around the corner, but hopefully this is only brush that is here and not another home.
And it looks like it's down a little bit of a ridge there. Huh, Mike?
Yeah, it does. And that's how the topography goes, is it kind of moves around here. So,
why not talk about it? Because right now I want to pray for all these people
like
that are affected by these fires instead of getting into a political shouting match about what the mayor should or shouldn't have done. And I'm in New York, and that's what my stream is about tonight. So if you want to talk about it, there's a lot of other channels that you can go to and talk about it, but I don't want to do that out of respect for all of these people right now. There will be a time for that, and I'm happy to talk about that. Maybe tomorrow, or maybe when the fires stop. But right now, I'm not going to talk about it. Thanks for playing. Have a nice day. And with that, she swiped herself out. Oops. Oops. Didn't mean to do that, but it just happens sometimes. It's like, really? Do you want to get on here and talk about, who's intentionally setting these fires, and the mayor's an a-hole because she's in Ghana and she caught the fire budget. Yeah, we know all that stuff. We know. But right now we're praying for people whose houses we are watched burn down in real time. And there are other places where you can go, to do that kind of stuff. Right. Yeah, you thought I rage quit. Just like they thought I rage quit Twitter when they started attacking me on Twitter. No.
I don't want to say just brush, but
yeah, because still,
yeah, there's no homes on fire, at least not here anyway.
No.
It's growing fast though.
Yeah.
Yeah, as we speak, same thing that we witnessed in the fires that we've been talking about. Not trying to exaggerate either, but they start off looking similar to this picture, and then just grow and grow and grow. And hopefully that won't be the case here, because you mentioned this being an Embercast, but that looks pretty big.
And Mike, you're
you don't want
saying
to see any kind of Embercast, really.
Yeah.
Mike, you're saying aerial drops are happening though, right?
Yeah, I'm listening to them talk about it. They've been notified. They know that this is here. They know that this Embercast is, and this additional kind of spot fire has happened. So there's Fire 2 and Fire 3 are working the fire, and they are both getting getting water right now. They're at a helispot on Mount Lee, getting some water. So I would assume that they'll come probably straight here. This should be a pretty easy, if they get to it quickly.
Yeah,
this should be a pretty easy one drop, and we can be done with it.
Nothing so far about these fires has been easy. I mean, they just started on Tuesday. Now it's Thursday because it's after midnight here on the East Coast, but it's still on the West Coast. It's still one day. This has been going on for like 24 hours, maybe a little bit more than 24 hours.
Well, they're not far, Mike, because Mount Lee is where the Hollywood sign is.
Right.
So there is an area there where they could load up with water. I hike up to the Hollywood sign quite a bit, so I know and familiar with that area. So hopefully they can load up the helicopter with enough water and douse this before it gets any bigger. But you can see just what we're still dealing with tonight: fires burning and then fires exploding in other areas.
The
It's
new
still
fire,
very,
Ashley, Studio City.
limited.
We just watched one house at least collapse, one 4-story home collapse right in front of our very eyes, and then another house next to it. And then I think the third house next to that one is also on fire. So we just watched that in real time. This is a brand new fire out of Studio City.
amount of fire crews out there to cover this all. And Mike, how did they find out about this flare up here? Are they paying attention to what we're covering, or is it people calling in? Do you know?
Yeah, it sounds like somebody on scene noticed it and said we need to send an engine over there. So that's how it first started. So they are trying to move some ground resources over there as well, and they were trying to identify some streets, which it sounds like they were able to. So they're going to get some of those ground crews over there too, to try to go deal with that. Because again, the other thing that is frustrating, I'm sure, for them in these hillside areas is it's, they're on Sunswept, but to get to Viewcrest, they have to go almost all the way back down to Ventura. and then go eat. You know, for us, it's like, oh, look, we can see them from the same spot. But for them to get to it, they got to go down, back down the street, then take Laurel Terrace kind of over and come up a whole other set of road, up Laurel Terrace, and then over to Viewcrest. And it's just a lot of windy roads. So it'll take them a second to get a ground crew over there. I mean, they're obviously trying to. And then let me see where those 2 helicopters are. It looks like they're still taking. Oh.
Shipping Man, we heard there's no cell service, that they're on Starlink. So maybe why you can't get a hold of her.
One of them's coming back right now. So Fire 3 is on its way back right now. And Fire 2 is coming as well. So we'll see. I would assume that will be their first stop here, because this should be, if they can get a water drop on it, that should be a pretty quick one and done situation before it spreads too much. And it does look like, you know, kind of like we were talking over in Runyon Canyon, it is this kind of low-lying shrubs here that you can see, even though nobody's touched it, the middle of it has already burned itself out. So it's not, I mean, it's certainly concerning, and it's something that they want to get under control, because for the residents, they don't really care how low the brush is. It's still burning in their backyard.
And they can see it.
And they can see it. They can smell it. I'm sure they're concerned about it. So, you know, the fire department will hopefully be here in just a couple of seconds. Fire 2 is actually just passing our studio right now. So, you know, they'll be there pretty quickly.
You know, we want to bring Evelyn back into the conversation.
Dog Defender, like, you are there right now. These fires are surrounding me, you say? Can you go? Is it time to go? Please stay safe.
And Mike, you know, we're used to seeing things like this, but at the same time, considering what we're going through now, when you see a fire, you know, you're automatically on high alert. So I can imagine those residents are, and as we are, just looking at this from our vantage point here in the studio and looking at Oliver's shot. So Evelyn, you know, I'm not going to ask you to be a wizard and say the distance between what we're looking at here, this ember cast, and that house fire, you know, how close it is, or are the winds enough to drive an ember?
It looks a little far. I mean,
does.
to be honest, I mean, usually it's house to house, right? And block to block, but that looks like a much larger distance. Take a look at that. I mean, look, never say never, right? But as I take a look at this, and just from what we've seen in the past and from what we've seen from covering fires for so many years, that does look a little far. I mean, it does, but it's still in the same vicinity. I mean, if I were to guess, maybe a mile. You know, again, this is just really off the cuff. And we are, it looks like there is the water dropping helicopter coming in. We're hoping that maybe just with one swoop, we could potentially, and I think that's what it is. If I can confirm that, we'll see in just a moment.
Looks like it, Ev.
Yep. There it is. There's the helicopter. So the lights were throwing me off there for a second, but we're hoping that it really could get this in just one foul swoop here. And we'll take a closer look and see if that does come into fruition.
Oh, there's a drop.
There we go. Okay, there it goes. All right, so hopefully that'll help. Looks like it.
Wow.
That helps.
Bingo.
Absolutely up. But look, it's flaring up a little bit. We still got the spot. So if they can just get one more drop in there, hopefully we should be good to go. But in the meantime, you know, one ember goes somewhere else. And that whole area, I mean, that's all vegetation. Remember, we haven't seen measurable rain really for months at this point. We have not had a good rainfall. We really, really haven't. So we have a ton of vegetation. And in the hills there, of course, up in Studio City Hills, as you make your way up Coldwater Canyon, a ton of dry brush, you know, as we make our way into Tree People. Of course, it's a little ways up there. But really from Ventura upwards, we're continuing to watch this. Looks like we've got one more drop coming in from this water dropping helicopter. And I will say the saving grace tonight is the fact that we don't have a ton of wind. I mean, we see a little bit of wind out there, but enough to fly. We did not have to see, you know, helicopters really get halted tonight as far as airdrops go. So a huge deal for us in this firefight all over Southern California. But the latest fire we're looking at right here is this new fire that broke out near Ventura Boulevard, in Whitsett. And again, now we're heading up into the hills because we saw one house fire, another house nearby, and we were thinking an ember jumped on another.
Here you go, Unetti and Jackson. Corruption Crushers. The Hearst fire is 10% contained as of 2 minutes ago. 10% contained as firefighters have successfully held the fire north of I-120 along with control lines north of Santa Clara Road. So there you go. I don't see anything live. Let me take a look at the CAL FIRE website. Here's this. This is the Hearst fire. It doesn't even. Oh, this is an immediate threat to life evacuation order. Lawfully closed to public access, and that is anything that you see here in red. And the ones that you see in yellow are evacuation warnings. What do we say? That's only 10% contained as of right now. Doesn't say how many acres, though. That is 850 acres. Current situation, the Hearst fire is spreading rapidly under high winds, creating dangerous conditions for nearby communities. Fire crews are working tirelessly. And here's the shelter, the Richie Valens Recreation Center. Large annual evacuation at the Los Angeles Equestrian Center in Burbank. Go back to Ventura Boulevard and Whitsett.
Out on your screen near Ventura and Whitsett on Sunswept Avenue. This is what to burn uphill from there into Coldwater Canyon. We could see a little bit of wind continue through tomorrow as well. Now, wind speeds do pick up again. Again, Juan, you mentioned tomorrow evening. That's absolutely right. So from 6:30 to 10:30 p.m. tomorrow night, we could get another sort of bout in winds where we're expecting 30 to 40 mile per hour winds, but nothing really above that. And then as we head into the later hours and the overnight hours, this is going to be Thursday into Friday. Again, that's where we're expecting to see some of that wind come in. But then by Friday morning,
that's where I saw it. Thank you, Caitlin. I'll look for that.
A lot. We get a lot calmer Friday with just a few isolated spots of wind. And I will tell you later in the day on Friday, we are expecting to see that wind calm down, but not fully. We still could see some spotty wind through the weekend even. And I hate to even forecast this far, and really I don't want to worry you because it's not going to be anything compared to the windstorm we saw over the last 24 to 48 hours. But by the time we head into the weekend, looks like Sunday we could get a little bit of offshore wind pickup, and we could see it again next Tuesday. Again, that's a little ways out and it's nothing compared to where we've been, but of course with fires burning, any amount of wind could fuel these flames. So that's certainly what we're concerned about tonight. We're watching the newest fire that broke out in Ventura and Whitsett, making its way up Sunswept Avenue. And then about, I guess we're still guessing at this point. We'll get you the exact measurement and I will let you know. And just
let's go here for a minute. This is Whitney Cummings' Instagram story that somebody just told me to look at. I did not know this. Look at this. This was from 21 hours ago. It says now authorities are responding to a mass casualty incident at Duke's restaurant in Malibu involving multiple burn victims. Devastating wildfires in the area. That was 21 hours ago. This is from 21 hours ago. This is when all firefighting aircraft were grounded because of wind speeds exceeding 85 miles an hour. This is the Watch Duty app. She's advertising that. For all horses in LA, evacuations, write with a Sharpie the horse's owner, number, and address. And name if a horse gets loose, they know what to do, but prep to have the ability to return them to their homes if they get loose. So she was evacuating. This was 12 hours ago.
To rescue people, there's these like brambles.
Right, she's in Topanga. Let's hear what she's got to say.
It's kind of hard to explain why it's also so hard to get in and rescue animals and rescue people. There's these like brambles. These are, I guess, technically called like tumbleweeds. And they start to like, first of all, they have spikes all over them. Look, see, and then it'll get stuck in your skin. And they start to line up because of the wind, kind of everywhere. See? So they create this like wall that's sort of impossible to penetrate, as you can see under here. And tumbleweeds, although they're just like a stupid thing people put in movies, like the beginning of Westerns, you know, to be like, or whatever this, but they become a huge problem. Small thing you wouldn't think of, you know, they'll like, you know, it feels like you're on the set of a Western. So can someone call Alec Baldwin so he can come and shoot them?
Good, that's better.
Thanks.
Okay. Well, follow her on Instagram if you want to get any more breaking information. Let's go back to this for a minute before I have to wrap.
Away, we're looking at another hot spot that we have seen air.
Where they're, you know, we looked at it a little bit earlier, but they've still got that gas line challenge that they're dealing with. That's, you know, natural gas is shooting out into the air as well down by some of their fire engines. So they'll have to deal with that as well, get the gas company on scene, and then those power lines that were arcing. I mean, just
but you know what? Even doesn't the gas company, it's not like they arrive quickly.
They can. They've got like emergency dispatch crews, so that are kind of out and about in the city. Actually, when I was, you know, driving home to check on the dog for the
this
other
is
fire,
the small fire. This is the small fire
them.
that they're talking about. Masters of Criminology. This is the one we've been watching. So wherever you read that it was a small fire reported north of Sunset, this is the one, right?
Just kind of roaming around out there. So I'm sure they'll be able to hopefully get here decently fast and be able to shut the gas off.
You would have hoped they would have.
Yeah.
How long have we been talking about?
Right. Yeah. I mean, the fire, what time is the fire dispatch again? It was 8:52 was the time the fire call came out. So we're almost an hour.
Less than an hour.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like they could have. I don't want to say, you know, because we don't know what else they've been dealing with as well. You know, they could be spread out in other areas that need attention. Yeah. Those fires that have burned in Palisades and Malibu and even Eaton for that matter, and possibly the Sunset Fire. But that seems to have been one that was more easier to distinguish.
And you got these like
or get under control.
Yeah, you got the entire streets there just you know, lined with fire engines all the way down. This is a look at Ventura and Whitsett, as we were talking about. It looks like you got, I can't tell if that's, yeah, you got some fire crews there that are staging some of their command vehicles that are down there, some of the bigger wigs that are dealing with that. LAPD down there blocking the street as well. So we're putting in a call to LAPD to figure out, you know, I mean, you've now got 2 fires in the hills, and, you know, not to say they're suspicious at all, but it certainly makes you wonder if there's anything they're looking into in that situation.
I know a lot of people are talking about it. I've had at least one friend text me and say, sounds suspicious, or can it be suspicious, or do we have a firebug in the community? They're looking at all of it, I'm sure.
All right, let's stop with the misinformation. Mainstream media. Thanks, though. Thank you so much. Hello, Lance. Hello, Lance, and to all of my other friends who are in California and watching me right now. Thank you, Jerry, for tuning in from Canada. Thanking me. Thank you for watching. Without you guys, I would have nobody to watch with. So thank you, Southern Mom, for thanking me. Also, this is so heartbreaking. Hopefully everyone's evacuating ASAP. I hope so. When you're told to go, just go. We just watched live how fast these things go and how fast they spread. Thank you, Sitter, for your Cash App, thanking me for my great coverage. I appreciate you so very much. Donna, thank you for buying me 3 matcha lattes. Who says thanks for supporting Californians? Well, my heart is in California. Elizabeth, thank you for the 20, for thanking me for all that I do on Venmo. Thank you so much. And also thank you to Bobby. LA coverage is so appreciated. Prayers for Southern Cal. Yeah, and it's earlier in California, so I know it's only 9:47 for you guys, but I have a full day tomorrow, and I have to be up really early. So I hate to go, but this is going to be going on all night, and we're gonna come back and catch up on this again tomorrow. BL Blazy, thanks for becoming a member. Heather, thank you for becoming a member. Thank you, moderators, for keeping this classy tonight. I'm surprised that there were people that wanted to come in here and just cause fights or make jokes, because I did not want to tolerate that tonight at all. At all. Prayers up for everyone in California and everyone who is dealing with this. And thank you so much. Just emailed you. Thank you to everyone asking how to help. Okay, let me go to my email for a second. I don't know if I can really post anything, but let me see. I know 7 people with confirmed homes gone. That's devastating. Many more friends are evacuated who don't know if they have a home. Boil water orders. Sure. You work in the field doing outreach on Skid Row? Sure. You can email me tomorrow. As long as I vet some links and stuff like that. Everything needs to be vetted. I just can't be posting stuff willy-nilly. But thank you very much. So do that. We're going to be back tomorrow, I'm sure, because this is not going anywhere. Not going anywhere, it seems, but we're here to cover it. So please send prayers to everyone who needs them. And that's pretty much all we can do from this coast anyway. That's all I can do right now. So thank you, everyone. Stay safe. Stay cool, stay kind, stay classy. And you're all in my prayers. See you tomorrow. Peace.